All right, Teching.
Sai, how you been?
It's been going good, man. It's been a while since we last got you here on the channel. So first up, thank you for being here. But second up, last time we talked, Loki was just introduced, and now I feel like so much has happened. So I guess we're just gonna run through Elbaph ever since that one point at the tree. And I gotta ask, how are you liking it?
Oh, I'm loving it so far. I mean, like, it's really intense, and, like, Oda's figuring out ways to just ramp it up even more so with, like, Emu showing up and then the Domi Reversi, and it's like, okay, and now we're doing a flashback in a flashback of a flashback. I got this great comment the other day that was like, so this is Loki telling the story of Harald, and then it's Harald's backstory, and then now it's just Rox's backstory right now. So
yeah, they're just stealing the spotlight. And it's funny. I remember when Wang Zhi first came into the picture.
It's
Wang Zhi, sorry, yeah. It's funny because I have people in my life named Wang, and I still say Wang.
It's
I always
like
get it
Wang
wrong.
Zhi is like his name in Chinese, but like it's funnier to say Wang.
Yeah. So there's Wang Zhi. He has appeared, and the day he showed up, the day we got the design, everybody was spamming your name.
Oh yeah.
And I know about it too. I've known about the Wang Zhi love for a long time. And I gotta ask, how do you feel about him now that we finally got him revealed?
So it's one of those things where, he was a mystery for years and everyone was thinking about what he was going to look like. And even myself, I was sitting around thinking, like, one of these days, Wang is going to show up in the story and that's going to be like, we'll know what he looks like. And some of the mystery will just disappear from there. So the design was not what I was expecting. I will say that much. I did not expect him to be, the multiple chins and the forked tongue. But the whole idea of him being a, like, pirate cultist, depending on the kanji that are used for his title, that's a really cool angle that we really haven't seen before in One Piece. So I'd like to see that explored further.
Yeah, I kind of wonder, like, how that's going to work. Do you think people are just, like, gathered around him, like, with candles, like, yes, our prophet, he is here.
Honestly, yeah, because, like, so Rocks controlled Hachinosu, and then after God Valley, Wang took over, and Wang was not taken out of Hachinosu until, like, recently. Like, Blackbeard and Kobe and the Rocky Port incident occurred, like, a year ago. So for, like, 36, 37 years, I'm picturing he ruled Pirate Island as, like, a cultist leader, and so people just followed him that way.
Yeah, it's kind of scary to think about it. I feel like it would be
terrifying.
a very gothic-looking island or themed island, right? Like, hey, like, I heard you want to know about the occult. I heard you love pirates. Go to Hachinosu, and then they'll, I don't know, hit you with, like, a magic circle or something.
We actually, like, so in the flashback in the last chapter, we saw that the mountain didn't look the same. You know how the mountain looks like a skull, like, actually with, like, the eye holes, and it has, like, a bandana on it and everything?
Yeah.
What if Wang was the one that carved it like that? Like, we worship the pirate god or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, now that you mention it, like, what would they even worship? Just, like, the idea of a pirate or Davy Jones, maybe?
Maybe Davy Jones, or maybe just, like, with a lot of cult leaders we have in, like, our world and stuff, it's more of, like, setting yourself up as, like, a lord, as like a demigod. So Wang might have been doing that. That would have been a way to do it.
Yeah, what kind of powers do you think he had? I know we're, like, speculating off of pretty much nothing, but what kind of powers would you personally
that's what's
want?
fun, though.
Yeah,
I have no idea. Going off of some stuff that Blackbeard is up to right now, people have been saying, well, since Rocks had, like, Whitebeard on his crew, Blackbeard wants to get his hands on, he got his hands on the Gura Gura Nomi at Marineford. Like, he's trying to, like, basically do the same stuff that Rocks did back then, but, like, through a different method. So, yeah, there might have been an ability. Maybe Wang had some kind of devil fruit that allows him to, like, manipulate others, or, like, it would work really well for a cultist to, like, get people to, like, follow him. Maybe, like, probably not, like, exactly like Bello Betty's fruit, but something to, like, inspire others or get people to follow you, something like that.
Yeah, it could be like the inverse of Bello Betty's fruit, where the more people that follow you, the stronger you get. Like, the more cult followers he has, like, the bigger he gets. Kind of like Moria and his Shadow Asgard, right? Mm-hmm. He's just like, ooh, I'm devouring their devotion, or something like that.
And that's something that I wanted to actually ask you. So a lot of people have said that Wang looks like the father of Caribou and Korobo. I think he might be the father of Moria instead.
Ooh. See, I would like Moria lore. And then, of course, like, maybe Moria, when he was at Hachinosu, he was like, so this is where my dad was at the entire time. It's like looking around.
Well, like he got his hands on all these bodies, like Captain John and Gonzui, and there was another one too, Gil Bastar. He got all these really cool general zombies. Like, where did he get all these corpses? If they were originally on Hachinosu, that would make sense.
Yeah, it would make sense. And then, of course, like the dad maybe just gifted it to Moria.
Yep.
Huh. Yeah, I don't mind that. I like both routes of Nepo pieces, what people call it here. You know,
yeah, I've been seeing that a lot.
I don't mind it. You know, I do like that the story's so interconnected, and whether he is the father of Gecko Moria or Caribou Corbu, I think it makes sense. You know, it would explain the Caribou devotion to Blackbeard, and also it would explain why Moria looks so odd and has the corpses as well.
I always call Moria an onion human just based off of his general appearance. Like, he didn't always look like that. He used to be more fit. He had, like, abs back in the day, but he sort of let himself go after a while.
Do you think we'll ever get, you know, a fit Moria again?
Oh, dude. Oh, that would be so crazy after like, he got freed from Hachinosu. He's like, you know, I'm hitting the weights. I'm working out. I'm trying to get back into shape. You know, it's like a Rocky training montage. Yeah.
I could totally see it. I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, Luffy in this story right now is so young, you know? And if I was one of these warlords, whether it be Crocodile or Moria, I'd be so upset if, like, this 19-year-old kid comes around beating me up.
Yeah, you're 46 years old, get your ass beat by a 19-year-old kid.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I've seen this compared so many times. Like, it took Roger like 30-something years to find the One Piece or something to travel the Grand Line and all these other things. And then Luffy's journey has been, at best, if you don't count the 2-year time skip, has been like a year. Like,
yes.
If you take, like, you know, like 8-9 months pre-time skip and then like a couple of months post-time skip, it hasn't even been that long.
Yeah, and, you know, when would you consider Luffy in his prime even? Like, is it now? Is it 10 years from now, 20 years from now? Like, how strong will this guy get?
So I have a theory about this, and that it's okay, so in One Piece, like, I would used to say 40 years old is like your prime, but then it's more of like 50 years old. I think it's whatever age Oda is currently. So Oda's like 50, so he's like, oh yeah, 50 years old, that's your prime.
Yeah, he's
like,
just pushing it back. The longer the story goes on, the older you can be.
That's how old he is. Yeah, that would be funny. But no, like, Oda has drawn Luffy older in those, like, SBSs as, like, the good universe and the bad universe. At age 40, he basically looks like Shanks, and at age 60, he basically looks like Garp. So I'd be like, okay, that might be, there you go.
Yeah, it all makes sense. So going back to Elbaph and, you know, in chronological order, after we see Loki, we all go back up to the Sun Realm, and that is when we get the mysterious figure just walking around. You know, who did you think it was at the time? Were you more so on the Shiki train? Okay,
I was all on Shiki, and that was mainly just because of that one cover story we got way back in, like, 2012 or whatever it was, where Crocus and this mysterious person was having a drink at the Reverse Mountain, and there was a colored spread of that where it showed, like, oh, that's Shiki's, like kimono and his hat and everything, and that was not correct. That was, like, not the correct coloring of that outfit. And everyone thought it was Shiki. I thought it was Shiki, and it was not, unfortunately.
No, I thought so, too. I was very 50-50 on it. I was like, okay, I can see Scopper, but, I mean, come on. The colors are there, you know? Like, the blonde hair,
I know.
The length,
and look,
everything.
I love Scopper showing up. You know, it's really cool to learn more about the Roger crew, but, like, I was really hoping for Shiki there. Then, also, all the animals on Elbaph are based off of the animals from Strong World, or, like, they are the same animals, so I thought, that could be a thing, too.
Oh, my gosh. And then there was that SBS where Oda talked about Shiki and how, you know, canon his Devil Fruit is. It felt like Oda was bringing us towards Shiki, and I don't know if you play, like, One Piece games, but I think it was, like, in Bounty Rush, like, a year before they released a Shiki character, and I was like, whoa! Look, guys, it's gotta be him.
It's got to be him. Well, I mean, hey, we are still getting Shiki. He's showing up in the backstory right now, so there is something to go with him.
Yeah, we have some solace. So, how do you feel about the Robin and Saul reunion? Heartbreaking moment. Also, Robin with bangs. How do you like that?
Oh, yeah. Robin goes back to her old hairstyle. That was a really nice decision, and it was so wholesome. I just hope that Saul doesn't die. I hope that Oda doesn't do the thing where it's like, oh my god, they're reunited, and it's awesome. Okay, Saul's gonna give his life for good this time to save her. You know?
That would be so
But that was an awesome
awful
scene as, like, the reverse of that when Robin was like, no, I'm saving you now, when she fought Summers briefly. And I'm like, okay, she didn't win, but she tried. She tried her best.
Yeah, I hope Saul does survive through this arc, even all the way to the end of story, mainly because I feel like all the Straw Hats have someone to go back to. Like, post time skip post time skip, I guess is what you'd call it.
Yeah.
You know, like Zoro goes back to Yori, maybe Sanji goes to Pudding. I kind of want Robin to go back with Sol and just study, you know, just hang out a little bit, and then like Brooke and Laboon. Like we could go on.
Like something with like Brooke obviously has Laboon. Frankie could go back to Water 7. Like there has to be a home for them somewhere.
Yeah. So yeah, Robin staying here in Elbaph, if it's still here by the end of story, I think would be perfect. So kids, Colin, how do you feel about that kid?
Oh yeah, Colin. So he is based off of Vicky the Viking, I think, which is like a comic book or it was like television show that Oda watched as like a little kid, and so that like inspired him to write a lot of manga. So that's basically the parallel to that in One Piece. So Colin, I mean, he's trying his best. You know, he wants to be a great warrior and everything like that. He's like, come on, everybody, let's go and save the children. And then they immediately get attacked by Gunko. And even with the Straw Hats like Jinbei there and everybody, they still were not able to take her down. So, like, it really does. And then he got captured along with all of them. But, yeah. And a lot of people are pissed at him because of, like, if he would have just kept his mouth shut, then Scopper might have been able to actually save everybody.
Yeah.
But, hey, he's a kid, so I'm not going to, like, hold him to, like, oh, okay, he was excited to see his dad. You know, all right, fine.
It's like if your dad was Superman, right? Like, you kind of scream out, like,
exactly.
hey, guys, look, my dad's here. He's going to save the day.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, hey, guys, look, my dad, he's going to save us. And Scopper's like, damn it, Colin.
It's so funny because in that chapter he screams it out 3 separate times. It's not once, it's not twice, it's 3 times, like in one page. Like, hey, it's my dad. Look, my dad's here, guys. My dad. It's like, oh
my
no,
dad.
No.
Yeah. And I'm not upset about like how that went down. Like I'm upset in the way of like, oh no, you know, the rescue operation failed. But, like, it's like, I can see him, like, I don't see any other way of that going down. And then Scopper trying his best to save him and using Future Sight and being like, no, I'm not going to make it in time. So, you know, if I keep going and try to save him, he's going to get stabbed and killed. So I have to just let myself get stabbed. That was the way it had to go. You know?
Yeah,
it's Chopper was the MVP in that chapter because he was able to save him. That was so cool.
Yeah, he actually jumped down and he did like a Looney Tunes ass thing where he's like ran in the air beyond Scopper to catch him. It's like, okay, we'll just accept that. Sure, why not? I like that.
I think I had a thing where it was like, what if Chopper has like a secret like Rumble Ball point where he grows wings? And I'm like, well, why not, right? Like at this point in One Piece. But no, the cartoonish running ahead and then using guard point, that was it worked.
Yeah, and the way I see it too with Scopper losing that battlefront, I don't mind it. It's one of those things where it's like, in hindsight, it's like, okay, if Scopper didn't lose, we wouldn't have what we have right now, where, you know, we're getting this flashback. We're getting Sanji and Zoro going up there in advance, and it's like, we're still in, I'd say, dire straits, right? And now we have time for, like, our guys, the Straw Hats, to shine out. And that's why I do enjoy, like, how the story, like, has been moving here in Elbaph. And, you know, speaking of Scopper versus Luffy and Zoro, that took place in the castle. It was pretty brief. How'd you like it?
It was a really nice just moment to kind of see. I kind of wish Scopper wouldn't have given up so quickly because I was like, I want to see where this goes.
Yeah.
And it's a question of like, okay, Luffy and Zoro, like Zoro was not going Ashura. Luffy was not going like gear fifth full throttle the way he was against Kaido or anything like that. So it's a question of like how that would have went if it continued. But it was a brief like showing of like, this is applications of Conqueror's Haki and adding armament to everything. And you know, like, Scopper was just testing their mettle, basically, because, you know, obviously Scopper and Shanks had met before, and Shanks was talking about Luffy, probably, and it's like, all this stuff about him and everything, and so he had to learn about, like, okay, what's he really capable of here?
Yeah, Scopper is just, like, one of those characters where you kind of expect, like, this level of power, to be honest. Like, I just love how when we were getting the fight, you know, we just had, like, Usopp and their gang. They were getting, like, the Scopper lore. They're like, yes, he's the left hand of the Pirate King. He's on the same ground as Silver Zareli. It's like, dude, we're just hyping this guy up. I'm just eating it up. It's so fun.
I'm noticing that's a lot of Elbaph so far, is just, like, hyping up Scopper, hyping up Loki, and now Harald, and now also Rocks. And that's, like, just Oda having to keep topping himself every single time.
And it's funny because I feel like as we go on in this story, we're going to get more and more of this. Like, eventually, we're going to hype up Dragon. We're going to hype up Mihawk. We're going to hype up pretty much every character we haven't seen, like, showcase their powers yet. Like, oh, you know, like, we're probably going to get Dragon. Oh, yeah, by the way, this guy, he was the strongest in his class, or just something like that.
I don't know how Oda is going to hype up Dragon better than Rocks now. Like Rocks in one chapter has like a list of like 12 feats that are way better than anything we've gotten from Dragon. So Dragon, their stocks are way down right now, I would say, for him.
They're not looking good. I don't think they've ever really looked amazing,
no,
to be fair.
No. They were always pretty down.
Yeah, I feel like for Dragon, all we really needed was just like a throwaway line like, hey, 20 years ago, Dragon took down just this random, like, wild pirate worth 5 billion berries, or just something random.
Yeah, something like that. Or like, okay, he can control the weather. All right, that's cool. It doesn't really hit as hard as Rocks killed an admiral and met Emu and destroyed a gate of justice and, knocked out everybody in a 5-kilometer radius with his armament, with his conqueror's haki.
Yeah, I think the best thing we have for Dragon right now is probably just the Akainu grudge. I wouldn't even know why they're so mad at Dragon either. Like, if we got a line where it's like, yeah, by the way, Dragon beat Akainu in the past, it's like, whoa, we have something to go off of, but...
Dragon and Akainu, I think, are around the same age. I think they're both 55 years old. So you could have had something like that where they were both, because Dragon was part of the Marines at one point. Maybe they did have a rivalry, and Dragon did win. That's something to go off of if we get it. Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
But right now, we're just kind of like speculating about it.
Yeah, that's all we do with Dragon, because all he does is stare to the east. That's what he does. He's really good at staring east.
He's good at planning and strategizing, but let me tell you, man, I kind of wish he was a crash out. I kind of wish he was like Luffy or Garp, where he's like, hey, we're doing this right now, forget it. I don't care about the strategy.
Yep.
So after we got the Scopper thing, we got some dialogue from Loki and this mystery character, Mosa. Shaggy.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? Who do you think it is? Do you have like any big candidates?
Yeah, so the probably the number one candidate right now is probably going to be Ida, who is the mother of Hiruden. Okay, if she is still alive. We have not seen her in the present, but if she is still alive, it would make sense considering Loki's mom kind of like abandoned him and he didn't really have that like motherly figure growing up. It would be really kind of heartwarming if the mother of his half-brother, Hiruden, was the one that was like, no, I'm going to try to help you through this as well as best as I can. Now, another option could be somebody that we haven't met yet that lives at Marijois. Because one of the calls was like, hey, something is happening here. I won't be able to talk to you much anymore. Could have been the burning towns in Elbaph, or it could have been the Holy Land that is burning right now. And so one of those two options I'm kind of split between at the moment.
Yeah, I've seen the Ida trend growing more and more with each day. I guess my one thing with Ida, I love the whole found family thing, right? Oh, yes, Loki finally has a mother. But at the same time, knowing how much Loki and Hiruden kind of just do not get along, I'm like, oh man, like imagine like Loki's like, hey, I know your mom better than you, or ooh, I've been talking to your mom this entire time. Like I just feel like he's gonna roast Hiruden for this, and it's like, oh no.
Yeah, the your mama jokes would never cease, at any point. Yeah.
Like what if Hiruden's like, yeah, I haven't seen my mom in a couple of years, but Loki's talking to her like every day on the phone like a prison pen pal. It's like, no, no.
And it's like a whole, like, seeing the backstory between Hiruden and Loki and how Loki was his little brother that was just constantly beating the crap out of him. See, I'm an only child. Are you an only child, Si?
I'm an only child.
So we don't know the dynamic of, like, having a younger brother that's bigger than you that just beats the crap out of you constantly. Yeah. And how you would feel about him after the fact,
And it's not just that, but it's like one of those things where, like, they treat your your younger brother better. Like, he could live in the castle. He's bigger than you. It's like, oh, man. Like, and then he has, like, this apparent legendary devil fruit and unique eyes, which I gotta get your take on, but do you think Loki actually has a fruit?
So it's either he has, it was mentioned he stole the fruit. Now, we saw a shadowy person stealing the devil fruit in the flashback. Was that Loki? I don't know. And another direction is that he's not the one that has the devil fruit, but his hammer, Ragnir, is the one that has the hammer instead. It would be funny if it was like a Thor-based mythical zone, but it was the hammer that had it, not him.
I think that would make sense, especially given the fact that when we started the flashback, Loki didn't have Ragnir. He had like this weird,
he had a different hammer,
toy ornate hammer thing, and it's like, like somewhere between that time and today, he got Ragnir, and Ragnir is something that Hiruden knows about. Like it's not like foreign to him, so he shouldn't have gotten it on the open seas. It's something that's probably here in Elbaph that everybody kind of knows of.
It's like a famous, it's the Mjolnir of like Norse mythology, right? It's crazy because 14 years ago is when Harald was killed and he didn't have it then. So like Harald was killed, everyone blamed Loki. Loki, I guess, stole a devil fruit and Ragnir and then fled, and then Shanks captured him, brought him back, and chained him to a tree. That's the best we kind of have here, but there's a lot of open gaps on the timeline of exactly how this stuff shakes down.
Yeah, and, you know, Shanks, in my opinion, is a very reasonable guy, very logical. I wonder if during the battle against Loki was like, hey, you know, you want to hear me out, Shanks? I heard you were close to my dad. Like, I wonder if they talk. Like, does Shanks know the truth? Does Shanks know that Loki's innocent, or no? Do you think Shanks doesn't know, and that's why he brought him back here to Elbaph for judgment?
Right. So in that flashback, it was kind of like the happen chance of Shanks and Scopper basically walked in probably on Harald's dead body and then Loki covered in blood, and they just assumed that that's what happened. But even now in the present, Scopper's kind of like, well, maybe we, you know, jumped to conclusions and we weren't 100% sure. So Shanks really he really liked Harald, so maybe he went out to sea to go bring Loki back. Maybe he didn't ask Loki any questions. Maybe he was just like, and also Loki's not the kind of guy to be like, wait a minute, you don't understand, let me explain. That doesn't seem how Loki's personality is. So they might have not have talked, and then Shanks just attacked him, and then it went from there.
Yeah, you know, so many problems, you know, in One Piece and in the real world could be solved by talking.
Just by communicating.
Communicating, simple human connection. And I do wonder, man, what if Eustace Kid never wanted to destroy Shanks' fleet? Well, what if he was a bad vision? What if Kid's railgun actually, you know, cleaned their ships and Shanks just assumed the worst, you know? Should have talked to him.
Kid got a little bit too arrogant with that.
Yeah.
He was just like, oh, I think what happened is, you know, him and Law defeated Big Mom, but then he started to kind of couch it like, well, Law helped a little bit, but like 95% of that was me. And then he started to be like, I could take on any Yonko now. And that didn't end very well. Also, Kid is nowhere to be found in Elbaph, so there's no like, oh, he washed up on the shore or something like that. No.
Maybe he did. Maybe it's a big chore and he's still working through it. I feel like if Kid were to come back at any point in the story, it would have to be here in Elbaph. Like, I can't imagine him, you know, washing up on a different island. Unless somebody picked him up, though.
What if
somebody picked him up, that's
okay, so
different.
what if we finish up the flashback, we go back to the present, you know, shit's really getting live, you know, with all of the giants that are evil, and Emu's there and everything, and you know, Zoro and Sanji are fighting, and then out of nowhere, just, like, you know, Emu gets shot with a giant railgun blast, and it's just like, oh, it was Kid. He's still here the whole time. The Kid pirates are here to save the day.
Oh my gosh. I would love that. I feel like a lot of people hate
I would
Kid.
love that more for Killer, because I like Killer more than I like Kid.
Yeah.
So,
oh no.
I'd be like, Killer's back in action. Like, all right, let's do it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this could be like the, I don't know if you watch Naruto, obviously, right?
Oh,
It would be like the Sasuke retrieval arc.
Yesterday, actually.
It could be just like the Sasuke retrieval arc where you have like these crazy one-on-ones and then the Sand Village shows up. That could be like that.
That was so hype back in the day watching that shit on Toonami when I was like 13. Oh, dude, that was a blast. Yeah.
It was so good. Yeah, maybe Zoro's fighting, I don't know, like Killingham. And then all of a sudden, here comes Killer. He's like, come on, Noah, pick up the pace.
Yeah,
man.
like Killingham summons a bunch of monsters to attack, or like summons like a dream version of Mihawk or something from Zoro's memory. And then all of a sudden, Railgun just blasts the nightmare creatures apart, and then it's Kid, and it's okay, and then Killer and Zoro team up, and then, you know, that would be awesome.
Yeah, and then Luffy and Kid could team up finally, and then, you know, we could even get, like, the wordplay where Emu's like, like, Nika, so you've arrived, and then here comes Kid, is like, I don't know who Nika is, but I have the Jika, because that's his devil fruit.
I have this giant railgun. Here we go.
I have this railgun and no hockey.
I love how we're just throwing out like, oh yeah, Eustace Kid's gonna do stuff. Zero setup whatsoever at all. You know,
just
last time we saw him, he was essentially dead, and it's like, yeah, he's gonna show up and do things though.
Hey, to be fair, it has been a while. You know, wounds in One Piece, they heal pretty quickly.
Oh yeah, it was like, oh yeah, Kid just dies and we're never gonna see him again. I doubt it, because, you know, like Kaido and Big Mom got dropped into a volcano. I purely expect them to show up at some point as well.
Yeah.
And maybe not in Elbaph, but at some point.
At some point. Maybe the cover page story. That could be it.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Which
the melted adventures of Big Mom and Kaido.
Yeah, we could end the Yamato cover page story with like maybe their molten lava hands like reaching out of the ocean or something.
Oh, that would be so sick. Yeah.
Yeah. Which I got asked now. We left off the Yamato cover page story with Yamato going to this weird decrepit grave. Shiki,
I'm going
you think
with Shiki on this? Yeah, that's
you think Oda's gonna write him out, huh?
Yeah, my new idea on this is that Shiki. Okay, so the temple is a hero born in the West Blue, raised in Wano, and apparently buried in Wano.
Yeah.
So Shiki's always had like a Wano aesthetic with his outfits. Also, his title in the last chapter was Gokudo, which can mean Yakuza. Yakuza are in Wano, obviously. So Shiki could have been raised by the Yakuza and then left, joined Rocks. And then Kaido and Orochi take over Wano later, and they're ruining the country, and all the Yakuza are in prison that probably raised Shiki. So maybe, Odin tried to fight back against Kaido, he lost. Moria tried to fight Kaido, he lost. Maybe Shiki threw his hat in at some point and also lost, and then he was buried there.
Oh, that'd be so sad.
Yeah, it'd be very sad, but like, hey, it would be something for his character. He's dead now, but it would be something.
Dude, it's another one of those things where it's like, man, Shiki... you could kind of look at him as Kaido's senpai among the Rocks pirates, and now he's coming back here like, yeah, Kaido, I'm gonna save my homeland or save the people who raised me, and then he dies.
It was mentioned that the Rocks crew kind of I guess they didn't all hate each other, but they weren't fans of one another, so it would make sense.
Yeah, they're not the biggest friends. I guess like the best relationship would probably just be Stussy, Whitebeard, and, well, I mean, we don't even know how Whitebeard feels about her. And then I guess Big Mom and Kaido.
She was just, like, clinging to him and stuff, but that was, like, it. Kaido and Big Mom, like, Big Mom kind of viewed Kaido as, like, a younger brother kind of figure and gave him the dragon fruit, so there would have been something of, like, okay, I could trust you at least, sort of deal.
Yeah, and then Big Mom has a whole thing for, like, little kids, so maybe she saw Kaido as, like, a little kid at that point in time.
Yeah, maybe it's like, you're my little brother, I don't want you to die, here, have this, like, dragon devil fruit, right? But you owe me one someday sort of thing, right?
Yeah, like, hey, you also have a really weird big body. Yeah, I like you.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, big boy is what she calls him. So, we're going a little bit more, and right after the whole Scopper thing, we go back to the party, and, talking about Kid, it is interesting that the Giants think that Luffy is the one who beat Big Mom. Like, they were kind of congratulating him. They're like, hey, Luffy, I'm glad you took her down. And he's like, huh? What?
Yeah. It was like Gerd that mainly brought up, because Gerd used to be the friend of back when she was Charlotte Linlin, like, growing up. And it was kind of like we were friends. It sucked what happened, had to happen, but she was really dangerous. And we learned a lot more about this. Like, apparently the Giants at one point had went on an expedition to kill Big Mom, and that was Goldberg's father. And then his shield came back that was a homie, and then that's Nash that Goldberg has. Yeah. So that was already answered. Like, because he always had that in the background, like a shield that was very clearly a homie that was animated. And it's probably the soul of Goldberg's father. He just doesn't remember he's Goldberg's father.
Yeah, it was really odd. Like, they didn't really describe how that shield came to be. It's like, oh no, like, they went out, they came back, and here's the shield. Like,
here's the shield. Yeah, he probably died, got his soul ripped out, got put in the shield, and they brought it back. Yeah.
It feels like something that will get answered in an SBS. Probably. Which I don't mind.
Yeah. I don't think that one's going to be super focused on in the story, although who knows, maybe it will be.
Yeah, so in the meanwhile, in the cover pages, we have good old Who's Who making a reappearance.
Yeah!
And he has captured Ulti in page 1. How do you feel about all that? Do you like the fact that the Toby Rippo are coming back in?
Oh, yeah, I'm fine with that. I would actually be okay if Sasaki showed back up, because Sasaki had, like, I think the least character development out of all of them.
Yeah.
Black Maria might be dead, because, well, probably not, but, Robin did, like, break her spine pretty damn bad. We learned a lot of stuff about Ulti in page 1's, like, past. Their father was Hanafuda, who used to be an ally of Kaido and everything, and then Ace defeated him. He eventually died. And so... yeah, Ulti in page 1 basically becoming the scabbards under Yamato, just as, like, Odin gathered his forces going around Wano. Yamato's kind of doing the same thing. It was kind of funny that they were trying to figure out this mystery of who's kidnapping everybody, and then meanwhile Who's Who has this giant headquarters in the middle of Udon, which has his helmet as the, like, oh man, I wonder who could have done it. I wonder who's behind this plot. But yeah, he was taken out pretty quickly.
I love how they call it a secret base when it's like a 20, like a 20-story tower, essentially. It's like, okay, what are we doing here, guys? And he built up next to the prison.
Yeah, it's right next to the freaking prison. And I also like the scene where Tama, like, kicks Hold'em in the face. Like, Hold'em was, like, a fairly powerful, like, headliner back during the beginning of Wano. And Tama just kicks him really hard in the chin and just like, aha! So there you go. I guess she's going to be a great, female ninja at some point in the future, a kunoichi, under Shinobu.
You know, that's such an amazing feat. Right? For a kid, like, beating Hold'em, that's not nothing. Like,
Tama has defeated Hold'em. She has more of a status now than Dragon does, because we haven't seen Dragon, like, do anything.
Can Dragon beat Hold'em? That's the big question. No, like,
yeah,
I'm
that's
thinking about
the question.
Porchimi.
I don't know.
Like, Porchimi and Blue Jam, like, it took Ace, Daden, Sabo, Luffy to take him down. And I would argue that Hold'em is probably stronger than Blue Jam.
I think I brought up, like, when that chapter came out, like, I was trying to power scale Hold'em, and I'm not great at it, but I'm like, can Hold'em beat Arlong? And some people are like, no way, and other people are like, probably, and it's just like, I don't know, man, but...
Yeah, it's, it's one of those things. I feel like, I treat One Piece characters and power scaling kind of like a video game, I feel like eventually everything will get just power crept until we see them again. Like, if we see Arlong in 2025, I imagine he's going to be stronger, but because we only have to go off of, like, pre-time skip Arlong, it's tough to, like, really imagine him current day, especially when he lost, like, a Gumu Gumu no axe, right? It's like, okay, it wasn't even like a bazooka. It wasn't like a Gatling.
No. Well, the axe was, like, supposed to be Luffy's strongest attack during that moment. Like, that's the best he had. But, yeah. The character that really suffers the most from that, I think, is Crocodile. Because Crocodile was a relatively early villain, and now he's back again, but we're supposed to be like, oh, he's got, like, an over billion berry bounty, and he's really powerful. It's like, didn't he get his ass kicked by pre-time skip Luffy without even knowing gear second or gear third? It's like, yeah, but he's still really strong. You shouldn't doubt Crocodile, right?
Yeah, and I feel like when we see Crocodile, I feel like an easy buff to give him would be water-resistant sand. Kind of like how Green Bull has, like, the fire-resistant forest.
Yeah, and the other question is, like, how come Crocodile didn't know hockey? Like, he should have known hockey against Luffy. There's no reason why he shouldn't have. And he's like, well, maybe he focused more on his devil fruit, and then maybe now he learned hockey. I don't know.
Yeah, we kind of just pretended it didn't happen. And, it's one of those things where it's like, man, like, if he still has that water weakness, he would kind of lose to most people when you really think about it, especially if you can utilize blood. Right? I do wonder, I'm like, man, like, what if somebody just has, like, a bloody weapon by accident? Like, would Crocodile just, like, get stabbed? Like, is that it? Is that game over?
Yeah, if you just, like, dip your katana in water and just, like, stab Crocodile, like, would it work? I'm assuming it would. But maybe he's gotten a lot better at that weakness. He's like, all right, I got my ass kicked by a 17-year-old Luffy, without hockey or anything. I need to work on my devil fruit powers and my hockey a bit. That was a little bit embarrassing.
A little bit embarrassing. Like I said, again, being beaten by a little kid. So right now, I'm rewatching Skypiea. I'm rewatching all of One Piece, and I just hit Skypiea, and I forgot how much of a menace. You remember that fatter dude, Sasori?
Hattori.
Yes.
Okay. So it's it was what was it? Because he had two brothers that are like. There was Satori or Hotori, and then there was Kotori. There was like three of them, but they all had very similar names.
Yes, I'm talking about the main priest.
I think the main one was Satori or damn, I really can't remember. There were so many of them. Satori was the main one, and then Hotori and Kotori were his brothers. Okay,
yes.
Gotcha.
Did he have future sight?
So they had they had Mantra, which was their version of observation back in the day.
Yeah.
I don't think he had future sight or anything. When Sanji beat that guy, it was like, I declare this, the test of love or the ordeal of love, and then pounded his face in. That was a really badass scene.
Yeah, no, I'm just watching this, and this guy, dude, he's dodging everything. He can, like, see the fact that Luffy has the Gumu Gumu no Mi before he stretches. He's over here just, like, I don't know. It was so interesting seeing, like, such early signs of hockey in One Piece, and it's like, dude, the Straw is going to do anything against this.
It was a big thing of, like, well, first of all, it's like, where do you separate, like, normal observation, like, I can predict what you're going to do next, to straight up future sight? Because at a certain point, they're kind of the same thing, right? Like, Satori could see Luffy stretching, so he's like, that is technically future sight. But then Katakuri's was, like, I think, like, 30 seconds, a minute into the future, like, further than just predicting something like an attack. But, yeah, I mean, like, Oda was basically, like, at that point, like, yeah, let's try out this new power system and see how it works in the story, and I'll incorporate that later if it works out, maybe.
Yeah, it kind of felt like, at the time, we were just very underleveled to fight all the priests. Because, I mean, after that, like, in tandem almost, we had the Chopper fight versus Fuza.
Gedatsu, Gedatsu, and he is such a dumb character, but, like, he's really funny, too.
Oh, not even Gedatsu. I was talking about the guy on the bird.
Oh, Shura!
Yeah,
okay.
Shura and Fuza.
Nobody ever remembers Shura.
Dude,
good job for remembering him.
Shura was a madman. He was about to kill Chopper.
Powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, these priests,
having a big-ass javelin with the heat dial in it and a bird that could breathe fire, I mean, that guy was pretty scary.
Yeah, and then, of course, like, they all had, like, impact dials on the side, too. And it was so cool. Just watching them, like, whip out the hand like this, and then everybody's like, oh, no, oh, no. Oh,
I love the concept
awesome.
of dial combat, and I wish that, like, well, Usopp still has them, too, but they don't get utilized as much right now in the story. But it added, like, a whole new, like, layer of, like, all these different weapons and things that you could use with them.
And, you know, it's funny enough, dials. That brings me to the next thing I want to talk about, but Sunstones. Do you think we'll utilize Sunstones in the series kind of like dials? What do you think the Sunstones can even do? Because all we've seen so far is the rainbow.
Yeah, they haven't really been brought up recently as much, but apparently they're like magic pieces of like, you ever watch Chalk Zone growing up?
Yeah,
yeah, gotta get the chalk. And it's like, it's kind of like that where they just take these stones and just paint things, and you can make like bridges, sort of like the Milky Dials. I don't know if you can make other things with them, but if you could just draw a bridge with these sunstones, that'd be pretty useful to like move around in like combat. The same thing with like the Milky, like the boots that the Shandorians had to like, you know, the skates in the sky to make things like that. That was always a really cool idea.
Yeah, I could totally see, you know, Usopp, for example, using the Sunstone to make his, like, make bullets even. Because, like, remember back in Dressrosa, we utilized Conjuro to make that scary Usopp bird.
Yeah,
and that was a drawing, so it's like,
worm.
dude, if we have the Sunstone, maybe Usopp can just consistently do that.
I gotta ask you about Usopp now, because everyone was expecting him to be, this is Usopp's arc, this is the moment where he's shining, and we're like 30 chapters in, and he hasn't done. He got drunk at a banquet. That's it. He shot Gunko and did nothing. That was it. That was all he's done so far.
That's so funny. I was talking the other day about the MVPs of each arc, and I got to Elbaph, and it's like, oh yeah, the MVP. Right now, Brooke and Robin, they're looking great. And then
Chopper's
I stopped.
even in the running, honestly.
Chopper's there, and I stopped, and I was like, wait a minute. Wasn't this supposed to be Usopp's arc? I didn't even think about him. It's so bad. And it's funny because when Usopp was at the party and he was getting drunk, I was like the main guy. I was like, guys, just wait. This is drunk Usopp. Like, when you're drunk, you know, your courage is through the roofs. I was so excited. And then he sobered up. And I was like, okay, never mind.
And then he sobered up.
Gone.
Yeah. The only way that maybe Oda could do this is if he figures out a way, believably not just out of nowhere, for Usopp to defeat Emu, or to, like, you know, Emu's possessing Gunko, maybe figure out some way to, like, you know, defeat her, and then Emu leaves, and then Gunko returns to her sense of self. Like, Usopp figures some way out to do that. I don't know, but, like, he defeats the final villain of Elbaph. That would be the way to do it, but it has to be believable.
It has to be believable, and it also has to be a testament to his courage, in my opinion. It can't just be another gag. Like, imagine if it's like Dressrosa, where he's like, you know what? I'm gonna draw a picture of Joy Boy. And then Emu gets scared and runs off. Like, that would be so, I don't know.
That would be great. Usopp does have good, like, art skills. He draws Gear 5th Luffy and just like, haha. And Emu begins to, like, sweat like, no! Also, do you think, with all the crazy abilities now to turn, like, characters evil with just, like, literally the flip of a game piece, do you think the Straw Hats are going to be afflicted by this? Like, we get, like, evil Usopp, evil Nami, or something like that?
Yeah, I think so. It reminds me of that One Piece party chapter where we have, like, demon versions of certain Straw Hats, and then we have hero versions of other Straw Hats. It's like, yo, maybe that's the play here. Maybe
so I know that side story.
Yeah.
I haven't that side manga. I haven't read it myself though, but I am aware that it exists. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it could be something like that, where, like, half of the Straw Hats turn evil, which I think would be really good, because right now, I felt this way ever since we first saw Shamrock and, Gunko appear here in Elbaph, but I was like, man, like, we kind of outnumber them right now. Like, I feel like, you know, we just have so many heavy hitters comparative to the bad guys, so maybe that's the case. Maybe we do get some of the Straw Hats turned, and we have to combat them.
Yeah, and it's like, how do you feel about the idea that since, like, obviously Emu, like, looking at it like a reversey board or like a Go board, Emu controls the black pieces, Luffy is obviously the sun god, controls the white pieces, so Luffy might not know how to do it yet, but, like, he has the ability to turn the pieces back to their good versions, kind of thing.
I would go even further, and I would say that Luffy could turn them into like their white liberation forms. I don't know what that looks like,
yeah,
you know,
okay.
kind of like Naruto, where you know, he passed out the Kurama cloak. Maybe we could get something like that, but to a lesser extent, maybe. I'm not saying like they can all stretch and they're all like, you know, dancing around,
but they
you
go
know,
to their
they have
like
something.
like obviously right now Dory and Broggy are like evil giants with like fangs and like wings and stuff like that, and then they get flipped and they don't go back to the way they were, they go back to like their most liberated form, and then it's like that but with like the sun god powers.
Yeah, they could even get like white hair, which reminds me of the minks, right? You know, when the minks go Sulong, they get the white hair. Not the best example, but we also have like the Tamate Bako box and the steroid energy pills, where Hody Jones and his gang got all white hair. It's like, yo, maybe that's it. Like, white hair is their liberated forms.
That would be crazy if the Tamate Bako ends up, because I can't remember exactly the explanation for this, but the one I'm remembering is there was stuff in the box that Zio, one of the Fishman pirates, like the new Fishman pirates under Hordy, was a chemist and was able to synthesize what was in the box into the steroids. So I don't know exactly what was in the box, like if it was just like powder or something that he was able to modify. But like, it'd be funny if it all comes back to like, yeah, having the white hair is a symbol of the sun god.
Yeah, a symbol that you are an ally of the sun god, which would make sense because Alabasta, they didn't have something that similar to it, but they had like the fatal fuel.
Yeah, the hero water. Yeah, that was used against Crocodile, and it's just like Crocodile didn't even fight them. He's just like, it was like, we consumed the fatal fuel. We'll die in 1 hour. Crocodile's like, all right, fuck you. I'm not fighting you then. Just die then. I'm just like yeah.
I'll just wait up here for 1 hour. I mean, I'm good. What a waste.
Logia. You literally can't hit me.
Yeah, that was so funny. I remember them being introduced, and they were just... I kind of liked them, you know? I felt like they had aura for a minute.
Cool. That one guy with the bangs covering his hair, he kind of looked like Val Allen from, like, Dexter's Laboratory. Remember that dude? Yeah.
Yeah. No, 100%. Before, like, he turns into, like, his buffed-out Hulk form, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that. Man, you have, like, all the throwbacks, like, in the back pocket. It's crazy.
I grew up in the 90s.
When you said chalk zone, I was like, dude, I haven't heard about that in like a long time.
Rudy's got the chalk zone.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Your memory's too good. So we go on and we see that Gunko and Shamrock. How do you pronounce your name?
I say Gunko.
Gunko. Okay, I was about to say like some people
Gunko,
are like,
it means army child in Japanese. Is like the literal translation.
Yeah, which is pretty cool. That's why at first when we first saw her without the saint title, I thought she literally was like a bred soldier, but. Looks like they got kind of retconned or fixed along the way.
That got retconned a bit, so she's now a saintist, and she has the same title as like Shalria, who is like the sister of Charlos. So the Celestial Dragons, depending on if they're male or female, have like a different title.
Yeah.
And so that's I think the title of like Shalria Goo, and so Gunko Goo would be the title in Japanese. So yeah, she is a member of the Manmeyer family, but also seems to have the flashback with Brook. So it doesn't seem like she was born into that family originally. Maybe she was recruited later, and apparently there is a way to do that because they were trying to recruit Loki into the Celestial Dragons as well. So you can be accepted into that group. There is a way to do it.
Yeah, she could be like a Stelly type of character where maybe the Manmeyer family needed like a new daughter, and they're like, hey, you know, this Gunko girl at Brook's Kingdom, like we need her. Or maybe, I mean, the wackier option would be if Brook worked with the Holy Knights or Celestial Dragons at one point.
Yeah, so Brook used to be the leader of a battle convoy in a kingdom in the west. We don't know what the name was, but battle convoys, like the whole point of that is they're protecting something. So what if they were protecting nobles? And that was Brook's job. And then that's how he met Gunko. And her name might have been Gunko back then. It might have been something different. And yeah, Brook is kind of remembering her now, but it would have been like 60, 70 years ago that he would have known her. It would have been long before. So Brook's memory might not be the best. But now he's figuring it out maybe a little bit.
Yeah. Keep in mind, this is Usopp's arc. You know, one day Usopp will get something like this. Stuff.
Don't worry, it's like Game of Thrones. Don't worry, guys, the dragons are coming. Don't worry.
One day.
The Night King is going to do shit. Don't worry about it.
Oh, no, not the Night King. I was so disappointed by that.
Oh god, we have to do a separate video just for Game of Thrones season 7 and 8 sometimes, dude.
Yeah, I'm about to rewatch Game of Thrones, and while I'm looking forward to it, I'm not looking forward to the last 2 seasons.
I did that a few years ago, and I had to get through season 7 and 8 again, and I was like, yep, this was just about as bad as I remember it.
Yep, it's just as rushed. I remember I started season 8 back when it was airing, and I was like, I'm not gonna finish this. I didn't watch the last, I think, 3 or 4 episodes. I just heard about it, and I'm like, yeah, it sounds about right. Yeah.
Nah, that's probably about the best place for it, really, honestly.
So, when we saw Shamrock first appear, and we didn't know it was Shamrock, did you believe in the evil twin theory, or did you think this was Shanks?
Like, at that point, like, even before Shamrock rolled in, it was like, yeah, Shanks probably has an evil twin, especially when we learned about Garling and the Figarland family, and Shanks was a member. And then when Shamrock finally, even before his name, he's like, okay, no, that's not really Shanks. That's his evil twin. You know, or just a twin that, like, we don't know what he's going to do yet, but he seems pretty evil so far. He seems like a pretty horrible person. And then, but his Devil Fruit, his sword having the Cerberus Zone, that was the thing that threw everybody off, because that was something we thought Blackbeard was going to have for, like, the longest time.
Yeah, I love how Oda's bringing back, like, I would say, like, these popular theories and just, you know, putting a little twist on them. Like, the Cerberus fruit being here is just so cool. Which I do gotta ask, do you think it's a devil fruit, or do you think that's gonna be like one of Imu's like devil contracts at work?
Right, yeah, so that's like the big debate at this point, and for the longest time I was like, the Gorosei are not actually devil fruit users, there's something else, like Imu gave them powers to turn into yokai or whatever, because I used to think Imu was just straight up like the god of the ocean, the mother ocean character, and so she hates devil fruits, but Imu has actually never talked about devil fruits in the sense of, like, I hate their power, or I don't utilize their power. So I'm leaning against that now at this point, and I'm thinking they are probably just all, like, mythical zones that they got their hands on. Imu is something else. She's not, or they are not the Mother Ocean.
Yeah, I like to imagine Imu has, like, a bunch of monsters, like, in his back pocket ready to go at any point in time. Like, like for example, like you said, we saw Dorian Berge get turned into the demonic contract quarrel, I think is what they said in one of the translations. It's like, like, imagine he could just do this for other people. Like, demonic contract squid demon, or, you know, Cthulhu. Like, that's kind of what I'm imagining.
Like, it doesn't seem to be an ability that is hard to do. Imu just literally just pulls out a book and then flips a game piece, and then you just turn into that. And it's like, oh, that's all it requires? You didn't even need, like, blood or something? It just happened?
Yeah.
Like, that's wild. Yeah.
And the thing is, you know, when you think about a contract, typically, even in fiction, you have to sign the devil's contract. Yeah. It seems like he, like, took your hand and, like, wrote your name on it anyways. Like, damn, dude.
Yeah,
okay.
He just pulls out a book and a shotgun, too. A mythical demon shotgun, and just blows off Broggy's hand. And this pulls out a book, and I'm thinking, oh, is he going to take, like, Broggy's blood and write it in the book? And Im doesn't do that. You might argue, well, he blew off Broggy's hand, so maybe that's where the blood comes from, but nothing happened with Dory. Dory just turned evil, like, not off screen, but, like, just, oh, Dory's evil, too. And it's like, and all the other giant warrior pirates got transformed, too. And it's like, what is this?
Yeah, it's so interesting to think about. And plus, another thing with this as well is that, like, you know, just being close to these giants, you get turned as well, just like the board game Reversi or Othello.
Yeah, if you're in between the pieces, you get flipped too.
Do you think that we can turn them back by playing the same board rules as Reversi? Like, if Luffy and Zoro surrounded Broggy, would he turn back to normal? Or do you think, no, Imu is a one-man player, you cannot step on this playing field unless Luffy, like, I don't know, uses his powers differently and awakens his Nika fruit?
Yeah, I feel like there has to be, as soon as Oda introduced the concept of it being a board game, like, there has to be another player of the board game. Like, there has to be a way to reverse this. Because otherwise, what's stopping Imu from just turning everybody evil? You can't reverse it. Screw you, I win. You know what I mean? Like, that's how it goes.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if Luffy would have to figure out how to make it work. I picture Luffy, like, seeing Imu drawing the pentagrams, and then Luffy's like, I'm going to try that too, and he draws, like, a really shitty one, but it still works. Like, it doesn't matter what it looks like, he still does it, and then maybe gives power to Zoro and Sanji, and then they're the white pieces on the board, and then Luffy's a white piece, and so he can maneuver it around, and it's the same kind of idea.
Yeah, I like to imagine while Luffy's doing that, Imu's like, oh my god, these are like Joy Boy flashbacks. Like, he just keeps on seeing his old friend or old enemy or something. He's like, oh god, Not this
Emu
again.
just has PTSD over this. Yeah, constantly.
And I do look at color spreads and everything else, and I try to see if like there's a deeper meaning. And one color spread that just keeps on popping back into my head, I think we got it near the beginning of Elbaph or the end of Egghead, but it was when Robin was playing chess, and she was using the Straw Hats as like chess pieces. And I'm like, man, like if Emu is a board game player,
that was a good one.
Maybe Robin is the one who, you know, uses Luffy and like, you know, these board game pieces, and she's the one who figures it out.
Dude, that's so awesome. That's such a good theory because, like, yeah, Luffy's, like, has the ability, but he's not good at, like, maneuvering. Like, Luffy is not good at playing chess or Reversi or any board game or anything like that. So let's say Luffy awakens the power. He's moving the pieces around, but it's, like, the stupidest moves ever. Like, why are you moving your, like, bishop over there? That doesn't make any sense. And then Robin is the one that's like, Luffy, do this and this and this. And it's like, oh, okay, Robin. Like, that would be cool. That would be awesome if that was the way it went.
And then even going back to, it's funny, we talked about like that little One Piece party chapter where we had heroes and demon Straw Hats, but Robin was considered among one of the heroes. It was Robin, Zoro, Luffy, and Usopp. Those were the standout heroes of that story, and everybody else were demons. And it's like, okay, maybe this is it. Maybe this is
I gotta go check that out because there's some like side properties of One Piece, like the theory that Hibari is Akainu's daughter, kind of shows up, I think, in like one of the side chapters. There's like a spin-off comedy manga about Kobe.
Yeah.
And there's a joke there about Akainu being this dad and Kobe's trying to like date his daughter, and it's like this really awkward situation. I'd be like, oh, that would be great.
Oh yeah, and I do believe that theory too. I feel like, you know, Akainu, for the hard ass he is, I feel like he will have, you know, the common weaknesses of every parent, where maybe he just loves his daughter too much. You know, that's
or it could be a thing where like his wife got killed by pirates, and you know Hibari's like there to remember his wife, but like that's it, and so now that's why he's such a hard ass.
Yeah, there's going to be some sort of explanation. And then, of course, with Akainu, the one picture we have of Akainu as a kid, he wore, like, this marine hat that said justice.
Yeah.
But it was also, like, burnt and scraped. And it's like, yeah, it looks like maybe, like, he even had a family member, like a mom or dad that died to pirates. And they're a marine.
It's possible, like, his whole town could have gotten sacked by pirates when he was, like, 5. And then he's like, okay, everybody I know died. I'm going to be a marine when I grow up.
Yeah. No, you know, bending the rules for these pirates. I'm just going to kill all of them.
Yeah, I'm just going to wipe them all out. That's the only, you know, quarter they get. You know, don't give them any.
Yeah, which I am curious. You know, this is kind of going beyond Elbaph, but do you think the Marines will eventually turn on the WG? Or do you think the Marines will stay with them?
There's going to be a split. Like, absolutely.
Okay.
Like, at some point, it gets to the level of, like, this is all going to come to light that what Emu really is, what the Gorosei really is. And I think a good chunk of the Marines are like, I didn't sign up to be part of, like, some eldritch demons. What the fuck is this? Like, we're literally taking orders from a giant evil skeleton horse. We're taking orders from a sandworm, for God's sakes. You know what I mean? And so there's going to be a split where it's like, maybe not even necessarily like, I don't want to listen to them, but it's like, well, if we don't listen to them, they're just going to kill us. So it's like out of fear. But like, I think there's going to be a split in the factions, and maybe Sword is going to lead one faction. Like, obviously Smoker would be on that side, other Marines that are going to be on the other side, and we'll see where it goes. Because I'll eventually, at the end of the story, I can see Smoker being an admiral, because he has a Logia, and all the admirals are coded, and like they have colors. Smoker is a snake, or white snake is he's one of his attacks. So that could be like Admiral Shirohebe or something.
Yeah, I could totally see it. Then Kobe could be another one down the line somewhere, which I don't know. How
Kobe would be later.
Yeah, like definitely like in his 40s or something when he hits his prime. Whatever Oda's age is at the time.
Yeah, it's crazy too. Have you seen the theory about like the Zodiacs?
Yes.
So like Kizaru is, you have a monkey, a dog, and a pheasant, or like a rooster, and then Fujitora is the tiger, and then you have a cow or a bull. There are obviously Sengoku had a goat, so clearly there's like references to the Zodiac here, and then Smoker would be the snake.
Yeah. No, I completely believe that. And you know, with the Marines too, you know, it's like you said, like I feel like a lot of people do just want to protect their villages or their hometowns or just people. Yeah, there's a lot of bad Marines out there, but I feel like most of them do just want to stop pirates for the most part. So the minute they realize that you know, their leader is willing to destroy, like, sack 90% of the world with rising waters, it's like, wait a minute, maybe we should not help this guy.
Yeah, because they most of the Marines did sign up just for like, hey, well, we're going to help people from pirates and make sure people are safe. That's the overall idea I think most Marines join. And it's like, hey, we don't know anything about this. We're less loyal to the world government than we are to the Marines necessarily. And, you know.
Yeah, they just really need
a strong leader.
Kong, Sengoku, or Akainu to just say, hey, guys, let's not do this.
Like, rallying
even
people
Garp.
together. I think Akainu's going to snap and just be like, I'm done taking orders from you guys now.
Yeah, I love it because when Akainu goes up and sees the Gorosei, I think like 200 chapters ago or something, it was around like the Doflamingo resignation. And he was like, hey, what the hell are you guys doing? Apparently, Akainu was like very rude in Japanese, like especially towards the boss. So it's like, yeah, Akainu already doesn't like these guys. So it's like, yeah, just push him a little bit further and we'll see what happens.
He doesn't like it because, like, he assumed that, like, when I became Fleet Admiral, I'd be able to call the shots. And then after he became Fleet Admiral, he began to realize just how little power he really has. And, yeah, I think he's, like, on the... Like, Kizaru seemed to understand and know what the Gorosei were, because Kizaru did not be surprised by Saturn being a spider monster. So he was like, oh, I guess you're my boss, so whatever. He might have already known. All the admirals might have known. But I think Akainu is going to snap at some point.
Oh, yeah. Which, you know, speaking of monsters, the Holy Knights, they made an appearance here in Elbaph. And I got to ask, but how do you feel about these guys? And also, which one is your favorite?
In terms of, like, interesting lore for the character, probably Gunko, because, like, Oda's really focusing a lot, like, on her personality and her backstory with Brook. We're going to learn stuff about Brook, and I just, like, he's one of my favorite Straw Hats, and so going all the way back in time to see what he was doing, like, before he joined the Rumbar crew, that'll be cool, and Gunko will be part of that. But I'm also really a big fan of Killingham. His ability is so busted, I just want to see where this goes. There is a major weakness, though, where he does say that if he just lets the nightmare creatures wander out too much, they will just start fighting each other. So there is, like, a way to, like, defeat him there that Oda kind of hinted at.
Yeah, and then he has, like, those
Summers
weird...
is, like, okay, but he's not
fissures.
the most interesting.
Yeah, the nightmare fissures are just what's funny to me. Like, giant holes in the ground where nightmares just keep on popping out. Like, can you plug the hole? Like, what do you do about that?
Yeah. Can you plug the hole? Can he just go up to you and just pull stuff out of any random person's like dream bubble, like put you to sleep and then pull like a Mihawk figure out of Zoro, right? Or pull Shanks' nightmare creature out of Luffy or something? Like, could he do that?
Yeah, like how far does his ability go? And I love Killingham, dude. Like from his straight Zoan design to his hybrid transformation, his normal form kind of reminds me of like Dragon Tales almost, like this cartoonish dragon, very wholesome
cartoonish
looking
and silly.
Yeah,
and then we see what his face looks like, and he's actually kind of evil, but also kind of hot. So it's like, oh no.
I looked at Killingham, I was like, man, dude, if I was like 15 years old, I'd love Killingham. He looks so awesome, dude. I want to like copy his style.
He's the most emo kind of character like ever. Yeah,
he's so cool. And then as far as Summers go, I think what's interesting about him is the fact that he has like the Shepherd name. So big question comes out. It's like, wait, is this Jupiter's dad, cousin, uncle,
Yeah,
son?
we got to start filling out all of these different families because we only know about, we know the Nefeltari family, but they didn't stick around. We know about the Figarland family. We know about the Shepherd family. Now the Manmeyer family. The Remo Schiff family was Killingham's. Yeah, Oda has to start revealing. I wish he would have revealed them a little bit earlier in the story, but whatever.
Yeah.
Go now, I guess. Better late than never.
The immortality really throws like a big wrench in all of this because now we don't know how people are related. Like Gunko, for example, like she should be like over 70 years old, but she looks young.
We see her in the flashback in the last chapter with Rox, and that was 56 years ago, and she looks pretty much the same as she does now. So she is probably, like, if Brooke is 90 right now, she is probably, like, in her 70s at least, but she looks like she did in her 20s.
Yeah, and then, of course, we had, like, Saturn from Egghead, and we saw him looking at Emeth from 200 years ago, and it's like, dude,
200 years ago, he was the same old guy. So, like,
are we going to get this all fleshed out? Like, are we going to get, like, an appropriate timeline of, like, when people were born and when they died and etc.?
I think Oda will do that. One of my favorite things about One Piece is how usually consistent the timeline is with like everything.
Yeah.
And Oda's even come out and said in like the author notes that like thanks to the wiki and all the online databases, because I forget like character attack names all the time and how old a character's supposed to be in the timelines and stuff. So it's really probably handy for that. But yeah, the flashback in the last chapter, one thing I loved is it lined up perfectly with a flashback we got from Kaido back in Wano. Kaido was 15 when he joined the Rocks crew 44 years ago. And the last chapter, at the end of the last chapter, was 44 years ago when they attack Hachinosu. So that was like, that lined up perfectly.
Yeah, it all comes together. So now I've got to ask, getting into this Rocks flashback, how do you feel about the Rocks reveal, the Blackbeard dad?
Maybe Buggy dad too. How do you feel about that? Let me flip it back on you. Let me Domi reverse-y this.
Buggy's dad. I don't believe it yet. I see why people love it, but either way,
he's got the same wanted poster pose. It's the same pose.
He does.
It has to be
the
him.
same pose. You cover half the face. It's there. Vietnamese Zebek is Buggy. I've seen all of it.
I've seen that. Yeah,
I've seen everything. I still do not think that Buggy is Rox's son, but I do think that Buggy is, quote, the Rocks of this era, alongside Blackbeard. Buggy very much to me seems like a character who takes inspiration from Rocks, whether he knows it willingly or not. I think Buggy is just kind of falling into that position of a Rocks type of figure, especially with Cross Guild, like the bounty poster even. I feel like it's all just crazy happenstance. I think Oda will put a connection there, but I don't think it's going to be blood relation.
You know it would be great, considering what we do in One Piece a lot with, like, the inherited wills. Like, Luffy and Roger share a lot of the same, like, personality, but they're clearly not blood-related.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting if you have Rocks as the father of Blackbeard, clearly, so he's following the blood relation, and then Buggy is, like Luffy and Roger or Luffy to Shanks, like where Buggy is the inherited will of Rocks rather than, like, the blood relation or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Rocks is, as we said at the beginning, he is like, oh my god, the coolest One Piece character ever. He just casually slices mountains apart. What kind of devil fruit does he have? He killed an admiral. How did that all go down? People have said the admiral might be Zephyr from Film Z. Like, they might just, like, Oda might just use that character then to make sense. Like, yeah. And I've always liked that character, so I'd be okay with that.
I love Zephyr, and that's why I think it pains me, because it's like, no, Zephyr died, not to this scumbag, please.
That's the only way it makes sense, though, because, like, Zephyr really doesn't make much sense to be introduced now in the story the way he was in the movie. But back then, like, he would have been the guy that trained Garp, like Garp trained Aokiji. That would have been, like, Garp's mentor 56 years ago, because 56 years ago is the year Sengoku, Garp, and Osuru all joined the Marines. The same year of that reverie. So Rocks might have been the reason for it. An admiral died, and these three kids were like, let's join the Marines at that point, right? Yeah.
And, with Zephyr, funny enough you bring him up, but...
Yeah.
What warlord killed Zephyr's family? Because I feel like... Yeah, I looked at the timeline. The only one that makes sense is Weevil. Right?
Weevil's the only one, which it could have been. It's possible. Yeah. But, that's always been a thing where it's like, during the time skip, somebody killed his family. Or, no, took his arm. That was, like, the family died, I think, earlier.
Yeah.
Zephyr has a really, well, like, established backstory, but some of it doesn't make sense. Yeah.
Yeah, you kind of have to, like, suspend disbelief or, put pieces together.
Maybe it was Hanafuda.
There,
no, I don't think Hanafuda was alive at that point.
No, he was dead. He
that would have been funny if it was
cooked.
Hanafuda.
Yeah, rest in peace, Hanafuda. Who knows how he fought?
Yeah.
What was he, like the zone collector?
Yeah, he was the master of, like, ancient zones and stuff, and so, Ace kicked his ass.
Yeah, rest in peace. I feel like as time goes on, we just get more and more Ace feats, and we're just never going to see them. All I have to go off of is, like, Marineford Ace, and it's like, yeah, he got one shot.
There was a light novel that was all right. That was pretty good if you've ever read those.
Oh, yeah, and I believe him and Blackbeard, like, teamed up to take down the previous user of the Giraffe Devil Fruit.
Did you just make that up? Because I don't know if that's a thing. But if that's the thing, that would be so cool.
I'm like 99% sure that was real.
I've read the first one. I have the second. I haven't read the second one all the way through. That would be wild if that was an actual thing that happened, though.
I'm pretty sure. Okay, I'm just going to, like, type it in real quick.
Blackbeard and Ace against the former user of the Giraffe Zone? That sounds like some fan fiction thing.
Yes, here it is. One Piece Episode A. The non-canon New World Pirate. Yeah,
So
there
is
was a
that-
previous
okay.
user of the Devil Fruit.
All right, episode A. What is this one?
Yeah.
Oh, this is the one by Boichi. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is like a different version of that. Okay. Okay. Yeah. I think I do. I actually might not own this one. I think I don't. But yeah, that's so cool. I got to go check that out then. Yeah.
Yeah, I just love how they brought back out of every Devil Fruit. They're like, hey, we gotta reuse the giraffe Devil Fruit. We gotta bring this in, and Ace has to fight him.
I think it was just because that was one of the ones we know for a fact was still in circulation when Ennie's lobby was going on. So they're like, let's pick a Devil Fruit that we know is there then, so the former user could have died, and that made sense. Yeah.
Yeah. And apparently he had an attack that we never see in episode A because Ace defeats him as he's doing it, but he was going to do an attack called Kudzu Leaf Spray Strike. That was like his ultimate ability as a giraffe man. Interesting. Interesting.
The ultimate giraffe power.
Yeah, a leaf spray strike. Not bad.
Crazy.
Yeah,
oh my God,
absolutely
cat
insane.
just walked across the
Yeah, I got 5 cats. You're gonna see them pretty often.
Yeah. That's
so
awesome though. Okay, yeah.
There's one thing I kind of skipped over actually before we got to rocks.
Yeah, go ahead.
Harley Text, the mural. What
Oh,
do you
yeah,
think
God,
about
that was the
Yeah,
biggest one probably.
That small plot point,
Not
I
important.
almost forgot.
Not relevant to the story.
Yeah. How do you feel about all of this? How do you feel with the mural? Is it the second world, third world, first world? Is it the future? Like, I gotta know.
Yeah. So after, it's almost like we are in a class right now in One Piece. Like, okay, class, open up your Harley text to the first world, page 6. So from what it looks like right now, it seems like the first realm at least had technology that was contemporary to our Earth. I hesitate to say it was our Earth. Like, there's a real, like, Tokyo in One Piece or something like that. But a world that was like ours. They had skyscrapers and buildings. They had an energy source, which would be nuclear power, Mother Flame, and then that world ended, and then the second realm took over, and then that was the realm where that ended with the Void Century. And then now the story of One Piece right now is the story of how the Third Age ends, which is also pretty much exactly how Lord of the Rings goes. I'm not as familiar with that, like, property, but, like, the story of, like, the Fellowship of the Ring, Two Towers, Return of the King, that is the end of that era. And so that's kind of what we're doing with One Piece right now.
Yeah, so, with the Harley, though, we get mentioned to a bunch of different gods, right? The gods we heard of back in Skypiea, essentially.
Yeah.
Do you think we will ever see those gods make an appearance in the current story, or do you think they're going to be just things of the past?
So Oda has brought up, like for most of parts of the story, he doesn't really bring up, like, gods that much. They do get mentioned, like Skypiea Eneru claims to be a god. They mention the sea gods and stuff at Thriller Bark, offering to the sea god and everything. But now that we're getting into this saga, now all of a sudden gods are becoming way more prevalent. Like, Luffy is the sun god Nika, and then so many other people claim to be the sun god, and now we're getting the gods of, like, the rain and the forest and the ocean and everything like that. Mother Ocean is a god. So, like, if Oda's just going to go full on with it and show us, like, a whole pantheon of deities, I don't know if I would actually be okay with them, like, actually showing them and like, interfering with stuff in the One Piece world. But, like, maybe in the backstory, maybe they were around or something. And then they decided, like, because a lot of creation myths in our world are, like, gods were around, but then humans messed everything up and they left because they hated how much we were handling things. And, like, we don't want to deal with your shit anymore. So, like, yeah, maybe it might be something like that.
Okay, yeah, I'm cool with that. As far as, like, the left side of the mural, is that our present day?
The left side of the mural, so that's all the people attacking that, like, demon dude with the flame.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm thinking that was the Void Century battle, but also is going to be a parallel to our current situation, because there's a Tontada, there's an Ancient Giant, which is probably Loki, there's Nika is there, which is Luffy. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's what I think of, too. I think it's all going to parallel. It feels like history just, repeats itself, I would say.
Yeah.
Kind of a cliche, but it does. It
think.
does.
But also there's, like, in the Harley, which is fascinating, I want to get your opinion on this, every time the sun god is mentioned, there's, like, a different concept for that character. Like, let me just pull up the Harley really quick so I don't mess it up. But the giants were talking about, like, Nika as, like, oh, Nika is a god of destruction or a god of laughter or a god of hope. So in the first world, it was mentioned that it was death and destruction, and then I think there was like one version where it was a destruction god, and then the next one it was like a god of hope, and then the next one it was like more of a god of laughter, which is like Luffy is right now in the third age. So like, do you think there were multiple sun gods?
I think there's one like ultimate sun god, and that was the one from the first world. But I think with the second world, that's gonna be like Joy Boy, right? And because we have like now the Devil Fruit plus Joy Boy, I feel like it's just gonna like be a meld of their personality, and maybe it wasn't the best fit. That could be the case. And then now we have the third world where it's like the laughter one, right? Maybe Luffy's just the better fit for the Sun God Devil Fruit. Or maybe this is the best, or maybe it's like the worst version where like the Sun God originally is like, hey, Luffy, I don't want to do this. What do you mean you're liberating people? No. That'd be kind of funny.
I will say, I just love the idea that like Oda established the Void Century for so long as like, this is the most mysterious part of the story we're going to learn about. And it's like, no, there's even more beyond that. It doesn't just start at the Void Century. That's like the second transitionary period in the world. Like you have all of the second age before that.
Yeah.
Then the transitionary period between the first and second. Then the first was before the first. What was that? Like, and then the facility on Elbaph that Lilith finds in the tree, that's apparently 3,000 years old. That's wild. So it's like Oda's like, no, there's more to this story than just the Void Century, and that's it.
Yeah, I feel so bad for Oda, man. Like, every time he's like, hey, guys, the story's like 70% done. Like, only 4 more years and I'm out of here. And then we get all this, and here we are, like, 4 or 5 years after he said that, and it's like, dude, you're nowhere close to being done. I feel so bad.
Last year, I bought a copy of the Guinness Book of World Records, because I remember loving to read that book when I was a kid, and so I bought, like, the new edition for 2024, and the One Piece is in there as the longest-running manga series, and it does say, like, Oda plans on finishing it up in 2025. I'm like, I don't remember him ever saying that, but even if he did, like, nope, that's not happening.
I think what he said was, I estimate like 5 or 6 years, and he said that 5 or 6 years ago, but he also like with that though, he said that he's really bad with time frames, so it's probably going to be wrong, which he was wrong, which is fair.
I wouldn't even bother, like if somebody even asked him like, hey, how much time do we have left? It'd be like, when it's done. It's done when it's done. It's like, that's it. I used to think 2027 because that would be nice, even 30 years of run time, but there's no way you're wrapping this up in a year or 2 years. So most estimates, Mr. Morge did a really good video on this where he broke down like how much timeline was left. And I think he estimated like 2032. And I'm like, yeah, that it would be, I think, around 2030.
Yeah,
for sure.
Just 7 years. Because I feel like the Void Century flashback with all this lore of the first world, second world, like we're going to need so much. And then just the characters ending, like their stories.
Yeah, but also keep in mind Oda's taking a lot of breaks too, because I think Shueisha is kind of like, because the manga industry is notoriously like overworking people, and I think in the case with Oda, they're giving him maybe some more leeway because he's so like he's the most popular like mangaka when it comes to One Piece. So it's like, yeah, we're gonna give you more time to have off so you don't like burn out and get sick, because that's happened with a lot of mangakas. So you have to account the breaks in there too.
Yeah, and plus, now that a lot of popular series are finishing up, I mean, Naruto's done, Bleach is done, I mean, My Hero's done,
ended,
JJK.
Dr. Stone ended,
Kimetsu no
Black
Yaiba.
Clover's ending soon. Yeah.
Vinland Saga's ending soon as well. Like, we have so many popular
Vinland
series
Saga's
going
ending
away.
in like 3 days, and I'm so pumped, but I also am like, oh, it's the end.
Yeah. Vinland Saga is a great series, by the way.
Oh, I love it.
I'm like 2 chapters behind, but it's like, it's funny how we ended up where we are. And it's like, like if you go back to the beginning of Vinland Saga and I think about it, it's like, wow, like we've come a long way.
Thorfinn's character development is brilliant. As Thorfinn and also Hild. Hild might be like one of my like the best written characters I've ever read in like manga period. She's
Hild
incredible.
is I'm surprised by how much I like Hild, considering the fact that she was, I would say, like almost just introduced into the story almost, right? Like she's like one of those Final Saga characters.
Yes, but also it's been like probably like 15 years.
Yeah, okay, it feels recent,
much,
but it's not that recent.
It feels recent, but yeah, her character arc was crazy. And she's not even in the anime yet. I hope season 3 gets announced soon.
I'm surprised it hasn't. I'm surprised it hasn't.
I'm sure it'll come up soon.
Yeah. But I do think 2032 is a very reasonable thing to say. But like I said, like I just feel bad for Oda, and I also feel bad for the manga industry too. Like once they lose One Piece, like they don't have much left. I feel like we will always get more and more new mangas that come up, but like the length of One Piece is almost unique in a way, like the fan base that it's cultivated. So I wonder, like, do you think there will be another hit manga after One Piece, before One Piece even ends? And if so, like, what do you think the concept will be about?
So yeah, One Piece, you're absolutely correct when you say it's such a unique story, because there are manga that have run like longer than One Piece, like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure and like Detective Conan and everything like that. But like JoJo has a very unique structure where it's not one continuous story. I mean, it is, but it's broken up in different main characters, different like universes and stuff. And Conan does have one particular story, but I think it's mainly episodic with how it goes. One Piece is one story all the way through. And when it ends, I feel like Oda's probably talked to people about this, and it's going to be like a Boruto situation. We're going to get sidequels. We're going to get prequels. We're going to have like other mangaka take over, and then Oda will be like a consultant, just like Kishimoto was like consulting with stuff with like Boruto and things. So yeah, we're probably going to get that. We're still going to get movies. It's an insane property like Dragon Ball. It's never really going to end. But yeah, whatever mangas are going to be big when One Piece ends, we might not even know about them yet because they haven't even been released yet, because the era is kind of ending now for like all the major stuff, like you said.
Yeah, and I feel like if I had to put my money on like a new shonen, I don't even know where I would start. I feel like because the manga industry's been around for so long, and just storytelling in general, right? No matter what they bring up, it won't exactly be like brand new per se, because it's like I just thought about like Ninja Pirate Warriors. It's like, okay, we kind of have all those, right? Like, oh, Space Demons, we have that already, huh? Damn.
Well, you know, it's kind of like the industry also likes stuff that they know is going to market well. Like, if you go back and read the beginning of Black Clover, one critique that I had of that series was like, okay, so we're basically just doing fairy tale mixed with Naruto with a little bit of Harry Potter in it. That's essentially what it started out as. But Tabata, after like a few arcs after the story got going, he was able to flesh it out and make it more of his own. But it's almost like when a manga gets in there for the first run, it's like, yeah, this has to be able to make money and maybe do something that's familiar, but different, but familiar, somehow balance it all out. It's hard in the industry.
I would say like the one new manga that really made an impact with me, at least, was Kagurabachi. I've actually been really enjoying that.
Okay.
Have you given that a try?
I don't think I've read that one yet. Let me just pull up really quick like the list of stuff. Like right now I'm reading Dan Da Dan, and
nice.
Yeah, no, I haven't read Kagurabachi yet, but that one's up to chapter 87. Maybe I'll binge that one next.
It's a lot of fun.
Sakamoto Days I know is really big.
Yeah.
Ultimate Exorcist Kyoshi isn't bad. I've read a little bit of that. There is a manga it's not in Shonen Jump, but it's by the mangaka Arakawa, who does Full Metal Alchemist, and it's called Yomi no Tsugai, or Daemons of the Shadow Realm, and it is just getting an anime soon. And the chapter just came out like 2 days ago, actually. It's monthly, and it is so good.
I have not even heard of this.
I love it probably as much as I like Full Metal Alchemist. Like, it's a really good manga.
I might actually check that out. I haven't, mine is Kagurabachi. I haven't really checked out too many mangas on the side, so maybe I'll add that to the list.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend that one for sure. That and Dan Da Dan are like the two ones. And Akane Banashi, too, which is more of like a slice of life kind of.
I like that one.
Manga, but I love Akane Banashi. Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those Shonen Jump hits, you know, not Shonen, Shueisha hits, just on the side.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Breaking news, but Ozzy Osbourne just died.
Shit.
Yeah,
really?
He died while we were recording. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Isn't that crazy?
So I've listened to some Black Sabbath before. My dad was a big fan. I got to text him about that, actually.
Yeah, no, I remember watching like some of his shows, or like, you know, things he's made an appearance in. It's like, damn, like, he just feels like one of those guys, like, you know, like one of those legends.
Yeah, he is, but it's just like, it's so crazy because I'm like, oh, wow. Okay.
Dead at 76. He passed away. Yeah, rest in peace.
Crazy.
Well, you know.
There you go, Ozzy.
Yes.
Yep.
Pouring out to Ozzy, guys. So, Loki. Him and
Loki.
his serpent eyes. We finally see what's going on with those. What do you think that means?
So, I'm thinking, like, if we're going back in time, and I just did a video about it a little while ago, like, so we have the ancient giants, like Ors, right, that are really big. Loki's about the same height as those, maybe a little bit higher, like a little bit taller than Ors. But there might have been ancient giants in the first realm that ruled over everything as, like, actual legitimate demons or devils, and they were big enough that they could have actually built the Red Line or built islands, and Loki is like descended from them, so he has like the demon eyes, like, so even more so because we've never really seen somebody in One Piece with the eyes quite like Loki.
Yeah, where I kind of fall with this is it's like Shirahoshi, where like once every couple generations, a mermaid princess is born. I think Loki could be the same way. Like, oh, like once every 10 ancient giants go around, Loki's born, or like these eyes pop back up.
Something like that. Somebody that shows a giant with the eyes or something.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Do you think the eyes grant him any specific powers, or do you think they're just for show?
Is this like Record of Ragnarok, where every human has a special eye power that they can utilize?
Oh God.
In
Record
some
of
way?
Ragnarok, dude.
I mean, it's
great.
interesting because like Loki can apparently see even if his eyes are bandaged. So like, because he talked about like, oh, you look like Shanks, because he was talking to Shamrock, but his eyes were all bandaged up, so he apparently can still see. So maybe they just give him really, really good vision. I don't know, or see the souls of somebody or something like that. That would be a Record of Ragnarok power, basically.
Yeah, it's funny because, going back to another blindish character, we have Fujitora. And it's funny because, like, somebody had to ask Oda, like, hey, what does Fujitora think Luffy looks like? And then he drew, like, the most basic-looking guy known to mankind. He's like, looks like this guy, but just, really, really kind and happy. But yeah, you're right.
Cool.
Loki can see pretty damn well with his bandages on. I always thought that was maybe just like an observation hockey kind of thing, but yeah, you're right. Like maybe he could just has X-ray vision.
Because Fujitora sees with observation too. We've kind of seen the way that he sees the world, and it's like just a bunch of weird like spirit people walking around with his observation. But yeah, Loki's able to like distinguish character like features of your face and what you look like and hair color and stuff like that. So he can clearly see perfectly fine.
Man, I bet Helen Keller really would have wished to have those eyes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe we have a time machine. Maybe we could go back and ask her, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. Shouts to HK.
Yeah, but also a thing about Harald and Loki is like Harald didn't like hate his son or anything, but did Harald ever even know? Because he was like, what's wrong with his eyes? Why are they bandaged? And they're like, oh, he has an eye disease. And he's like, oh, poor kid. Like, did he ever...
I don't think so.
Let me get a look at your eyes here or something like that. No, I don't know.
I have fallen on the boat that Harold is a really great guy. But hear me out. He's not exactly the best of dads because he's not going out of his way to like know Loki or to be with Loki. No. He's kind of doing the bare minimum.
He's doing the bare, like, he loves his son, and he, like, came back to the island when he heard he was hurt, and Loki kind of was like, Dad came back to the island for me. That was nice. But, like, at the same time, it's like, dude, just, like, you can bring him on, like, missions to do things. Like, he's going to be the king someday. Maybe you should, like, actually spend more time with your son. But it's one of those things, like, if Harald spends too much time with his son, then maybe Loki doesn't, turn out the way he does, and so we have to arrive at that conclusion. So like he was abused and he was neglected as a child, like that has to be part of his backstory, even if it doesn't make much sense.
Yeah, no, it doesn't make much sense, but it like you said, it's one of those things we take because we have the Loki we have today. But realistically, like you said, you're the king. Bring the prince on these diplomatic missions. Show him what the world is like. Establish relationships. Like, what if you go to a nation that you're friendly with, and they have a kid? It's like, oh, like our kids can hang out together. Look at that.
Yeah, or even just like when he goes around building roads on Elbaph, take Loki with you and like go to the meetings and stuff. No, I'm gonna leave you in a castle with your like Estrid's older brother that just like calls you a freak and shit. And then it's like, oh, yeah, that's great. And then eventually gets murdered. And that's the only time we see Loki smile in that chapter is when that guy, he fell into the primordial realm. What happened? And Loki's like,
I don't know.
It's like, I don't know what happened. Whatever. He slipped.
What's really funny, too, is that, Estrid dies. Harold's away. So Harold's like, hey, like, let's give Loki to Estrid's older brother. But now that the older brother is dead, do you think there's like a younger brother or like an older
I don't
brother
know.
they give him to?
No, it's going to be like Naruto where Loki just grew up by himself.
Okay.
Actually, the guards of the castle seem to be kind of nice to him. They don't seem to be as cruel. Like Estrid was like screaming to gouge his eyes out, and the guards are like, okay, we're not going to do that. We're not doing that.
Yeah, the guards seem they seem really nice, especially during like the famine, and Estrid was blaming Loki, and they're like, no, it's probably just a coincidence. Estrid.
It's probably just a coincidence. Even the guards were kind of like trying to defend Hyruden. Like, come on now, he's a prince too. Like that's the kind of shit that'll get you like beheaded to like claim that like, oh no, Hyruden is also the prince. It was like the what you say. Like, but no, the guards were like, no, they're both, their dad is Harald. You should get along. You're brothers. Like,
yeah,
okay.
come on, guys. Which
Yeah.
I gotta say, man, if Hired and Ida lived in this castle, Loki again would be so much different. But he just needed like a shred of love, you know?
It's one of those things where it's like, yeah, if Loki, it's funny because I called it before we got it. I kept calling it Loki's sad crybaby backstory. Like, when are we gonna get that? And we got it. It was like, oh, it really was a sad crybaby backstory, like literally in every concept you can imagine. But yeah, no, he has a tragic, sad story. So
yeah, it's to be expected, right? I feel like if you get a flashback in One Piece, it's almost guaranteed to be sad. Like, yeah, it's like extremely sad almost.
What I was thinking about Blackbeard's is, what if Blackbeard, right? Like, he's the son of rocks. What if he was raised by his mother, and that backstory actually was perfectly fine? Like, the mother of Blackbeard was very caring and loving, and there was no drama, and there was no, like, trying to murder him or anything. Blackbeard was the one that decided, I'm going to go out to sea and be like rocks, and maybe Blackbeard murdered his family and left. Like, he's the one that chose to ruin it all. Rather, if he would have just stayed, he would have had that happy life, but...
Yeah.
And also people have thrown out the idea maybe Rox's soul is like in Blackbeard's body or something like that too.
Yeah, he's like the evil seed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we still have to figure out like why Blackbeard doesn't sleep. Like, that's still a big mystery.
So yeah, if it has like multiple souls or something, you could look at that. Also, sometimes throughout the story, Blackbeard makes decisions that are like super calculated and really smart, and other times he just like does the dumbest shit. Like, he walks right up to Magellan and expects this to work, and then Magellan just knocks him out and almost kills him in one attack, and then just walks right by him, and it's like, okay. But then he comes up with these plans to, like, kill Whitebeard and take his fruit and everything that require, like, multiple steps to achieve.
Yeah, it's so funny. I mean, you gotta admit, though, maybe Blackbeard did it for the aura farming. Because you gotta admit, when Luffy was going up the stairs and Blackbeard and his gang were, like, laughing and walking towards Magellan, I was like, whoa! Like, that's awesome, dude! And then
it's just
loses.
like the aura clashing, and it's like, oh man, we're gonna kick Magellan's ass. Oh wait, we have no protection against poison. Crap, we're dead.
Yeah, which obviously it's One Piece, it's an anime. We can't use like real life logic, but I feel like at what point, as a One Piece character, do you just start beheading people who are down? Like, okay, I do not want these guys to get back up, please.
Well, do you play D&D?
Yes.
Yes, so it's kind of like the logic of like, okay, the player got knocked unconscious, the enemy should just cut off their head, but that kills the character. So let's have them go after the other characters that are still up right now.
They're doing like saving throws.
Yeah, it's like you don't want it to be too brutal on the players, kind of thing.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, let's be real here. I mean, like you said, we saw Kaido and Big Mom fall into a volcano. We still think they're alive.
They're still gonna pop in. They're gonna be like half melted and maybe part robots, but like they're still be alive somehow.
Yeah, they could come back as heroes. They could come back as like anti-villains. I don't think they're gonna be like a big role necessarily, but they're gonna be back. They're gonna help.
Yeah,
the Straws,
it's gonna be a different like. We're not gonna just rehash the same thing again where they just fight them again. But like there's gonna be something Oda will give them for it right now. It's just that they're not important to the story at this moment.
Yeah, I mean, I see Kaido.
Their part
as
is over, I should say. Yeah,
kind of like a Kenpachi type of character where he's gonna come back. He's like, "Hey, Luffy, let's fight again. That was so much fun." And then Luffy's like, "Wait, I gotta fight Emu." And he's like, "Oh, okay, I'll help you beat a Gorosei member."
Oh, what if it's something crazy like in Naruto when the 5 Kage go up against Madara, and it's just like the 4 Yonko go up against Emu or something, like, or the former Yonko, you know what I mean? Like, we have Kaido, Big Mom, and then Shanks is there, Buggy's there, Luffy's there, and it's just like, all right, let's go fight him. See what happens.
Everybody with the Yonko title past and new after Emu.
Zombie Whitebeard rises from the grave.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Zombie Whitebeard. Hey, dude, after Marineford, that would be like the first thing I'd want to do is Moria. Like, just, hey, let's go get Whitebeard's corpse. Like, let's go to Sphinx Village.
It's apparently there. I mean, Marco apparently is guarding it, but they also left Whitebeard's Bicento on his grave, which is like a Saijo Owazamono graded blade. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, actually,
I'm surprised. No grave robbers? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, maybe. But what I was actually thinking about, the way you said that, is all the former Yonko like fighting against Emu. Like, Blackbeard has Whitebeard's fruit, so it would be kind of like symbolically like Blackbeard was a Yonko, Whitebeard was a Yonko, and they have his powers too. Plus Kaido, plus Big Mom, plus Luffy, plus Buggy, plus Shanks. That would be sweet.
I would love that. Cool, oh man, I'm looking forward to whenever Buggy and Shanks fight together, because I think that's going to happen. At some point, I feel like we're going to get them teaming up.
I don't know if they're going to fight. They might join up together. I don't know how that's going to go.
No. That's what I meant. Like, yeah, they're going to team up and fight somebody.
Team up, yeah.
Like, because they fought together as kids, and it's like, wait a minute, like, what if they have like a bunch of combination attacks, dude?
I think they probably do, and it's like, it's been a while since we've used this technique, Buggy, and it's like, all right, they use it together, but it's way stronger now.
Yeah, it's gonna be something like really stupid at first, though. It's like Frankie docking, like, hey, Shanks, remember what we used to do as kids? Let's do it. Yeah,
That'd
totally.
Yeah.
So after we see the whole Rocks reveal, we get like a lot of his crew. We already talked about our boy Wang Zhi here. Wang Zhi, sorry. I back and forth.
I know.
Gunko and Don Marlone,
Yeah.
two brand new characters. Haven't really seen much of them. Gunko we've seen his armor, but we didn't know it was him. Which one do you like more? And also, like, do you think Don Marlone's related to Capone Beige?
Yeah, so I'll talk about Gunko first. I really like the concept of him being like a smuggler kind of pirate. Like, okay, that's like same thing with like Wang being a pirate cultist. It's like, oh, these are different angles of pirating that we haven't really seen before. So Gunko being like the general zombie with the giant golden armor, that was really sweet. I really liked his design. A lot of people kind of wanted his design to be Wang's design, like if they were flipped. It wouldn't make sense because he was a general zombie, but it would be cooler. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing some stuff with him. He's a cool character. As for Don Marlone, I don't think he has to necessarily be the father of Beiji, because it was mentioned there are 5 major crime families in the West Blue. Beiji conquered all of them and then went to go out to sea to be a pirate. Don Marlone could have either been one of those, like this would have been like 50 years ago, so he would have been maybe the predecessor of one of those other families, or Don Marlone could have been the boss of the entire West. He dies, and then that splits into the 5 families, and then that's where Beiji shows up. So not everything has to be nepotism in One Piece.
Not everything has to be nepotism, but I think most things are connected at the very least.
Yeah, although it can be connected, definitely, but yeah.
Yeah,
it doesn't have to go direct
that.
father to son to grandson kind of thing.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. With Gunko, speaking of potential fathers, people are saying he looks like Patty, but kind of like a meme.
Oh,
he looks
I haven't
like Patty.
Even seen that, but that'd be great if Gunko was Patty's father. Sure, why not?
Just random. Like, see, this is one that wouldn't matter because it's not like we're expecting Patty to do anything. So
nobody cares.
Sure.
Patty decides, like, my dad died. I'm gonna go out to sea.
Yeah, I'm gonna work at the Baratier. This is my. Well, what if Patty is, slipping something in the sauce at Baratier?
So he is the, so when the Baratier had like a renovation, right, done, he got like his own little ship. He's the pastier. So he's like the dessert guy. So he attacks the Yonko, or he attacks Emu with pies or cakes or something like that.
Yeah.
He literally runs a bakery. So like that would be great.
And then his cakes are laced in fentanyl.
Yeah.
To pay homage to his smuggler father.
Oh, there we go. That would be great. Yeah.
Yeah. Gunko sends his regards. Throws a crazy cake at you.
Yeah, he shows up and attacks it. Is like, I don't even know who the hell you are. Who are you? I work at the Baratier. My name's Patty.
Yeah. And then in the background, as he's throwing the cake, we see the shadow of Gunko just from the heavens. He's just emerging back there. So when it comes to Rocks, do you think we're gonna see more from him next chapter, or do you think this is the end of Rocks' flashback and we're gonna go more towards Loki and Harold?
So so I think we're gonna keep going. Like so we start with Loki telling his story, and then that leads to Harold's, and then that leads to Rox's.
Yeah.
So I don't think we're gonna get all of God Valley yet, because I think that's delving a little bit too deep down the Rocks rabbit hole, I guess to say. So I think we're gonna get this scene where Rocks takes over Hachinosu. So that was 44 years ago. We're gonna learn about that, and then it's gonna cut off right before we get to God Valley. Then we're going to go finish Harold's backstory, and then it's going to work its way into Loki's backstory, which Loki, by the way, is telling this entire story to Hyruuden within 3 minutes, which is hilarious to me.
Yeah, it's some Dragon Ball Z ass timing
that's been going on, yeah.
Like, hey, Frieza, we have 5 minutes until Planet Namek explodes. Fights for like 50 episodes.
Like, granted, this is a flashback in a flashback, so Loki's like not telling the whole thing, but like it is funny.
Yeah, this is one of those moments where we could really use pudding, right? Just extract the memories.
Yeah, the memory powers.
Put in other people, call it a day. We could save all the minutes there.
Pudding's ability makes all flashbacks instant. Like, just like, okay, there you go. You know everything that happens. Let's go.
Yeah, and that does bring me to like how we could get the God Valley flashback. It could just be from Pudding and Garp. Blackbeard could go down to the basement, see Garp, and hey, Pudding, bring out his memories. I gotta see how my daddy died.
Yeah, or something like that, right? Yeah. Just the whole, and then Garp also is being contained on Hachinosu right now, and he would know. There's also the question of like, who knows that Rox is Blackbeard's father, because they look almost exactly alike. So it'd be like Whitebeard should have known this, Garp would know this, Sengoku should know this. Yeah.
Yeah, and at what point do you start spawn camping these guys? Like, the minute you see, you know what I mean? Like, the minute you see this guy pop up, I mean, forget the D-Clan thing, because that's already a big red flag, but you see the way he looks, and you're like, yeah, maybe we should just send a Kainu or something.
Sai, you know who the expert spawn camper was the Marines when they were targeting Roger's kid, when they were like, oh, let's literally target every pregnant woman in every island where Roger's been for the last 2 years and kill every baby that is born. Holy shit, they already tried that strategy.
Yeah, it didn't even work, too, which is the craziest part.
It didn't even work. Well, okay, it didn't work because of bullshit in the One Piece where Rouge carried her child for 20 months. It's like, all right,
which,
I guess.
hey, that has spawned a really popular theory in the past couple of days.
Oh, that she has the Gamu Gamu no Mi?
No.
Okay, yeah.
The popular theory around the block right now, maybe not like the smartest block. Maybe it's a block where I only live at, but...
Where are we at?
People are saying that Eustace's kid could be Rox's son, and Kid's mom held Kid in the womb for 14, 15 years. And that's why they're calling him Kid, because he's eternally a kid. How do you feel about that one?
That's funny as hell. Yeah. Let's go with that, sure.
Yeah. All right, we got teching on the theory, guys.
There we go.
It's locked and sealed.
Sure. Let's roll with that.
Yeah, Rox D.
Yeah.
Rox D Kid? I guess it would be his name.
Everybody,
Kid Rock.
It's like I've seen comparisons to like Genghis Khan, where like 10% of everybody, no, I think it's more than that. Like certain percentage like can trace their lineage back to Genghis Khan because he got around, So like, yeah.
Yeah, like Genghis Khan was just jizzing in the water at that point, man. You know what I mean?
Well, I did a joke in the last episode where it was like, well, Rox did get around. We know he had Wang on his crew after all. So
yeah, he was slinging that Wang, dude.
Rox probably has like at least 20 children, like bare minimum. So that's why I think it's a misdirect. Like Oda reveals he's the father of Blackbeard almost secondhand in a title box, and it's just like whatever. It's like that's to cover up for the fact that he had all these other kids, and one of them was Buggy.
Yeah, imagine we get the final panel of Rox, or the final like reintroduction, and then we have like the father of X, Y, Z, B, A,
the
Z.
father of Patty, the father of Buggy, the father of Shanks, the father of...
Yeah, just also put all of his epithets there too, like the fighter of God Valley, Roger's rival, the menace of the Marines.
Roger, somehow.
Joy Boy's descendant.
Yeah, it just keeps adding it. It's like there's certain like fan fictions I'll read of One Piece where they'll do stuff like that. Like that's something that would be in a fan fiction, like Rox D Xebec, the killer of an admiral, the father of Blackbeard. I'd be like, that's some fan fiction-y shit. No, that actually happens. It's like, okay.
Yeah, it's one of those things where like I think Blackbeard being the son of Rox, that was always like on the table, but it wasn't always
his
like
ship was called the Saber of Xebec, for God's sake. I mean, like, yeah.
We always knew there's a connection there. We just didn't know what it was. Like, was he the father? Is it like a soul thing? Which, you kind of mentioned, like, like, does Blackbeard have, like, Rox's actual soul? Because, one thing that happened in this latest chapter was Rox went all the way up to the flower room and said, I'll be back. And it's like, okay, we know that he doesn't come back because of the narrator, but maybe he comes back as Blackbeard. And Blackbeard drops the one-liner, like, hey, I told you I'd be back. And it's like, wait a minute. What do you mean you'll be back? Like, who are you?
But then again, Emu knows Rox, so I feel like Emu would be like... And also, Emu was holding, like, remember he cut up Luffy and Blackbeard's wanted posters, like, at that one point. So Emu knows that, like, yeah, Blackbeard is probably the son of Xebec, and he's going to come back someday, so I got to keep an eye out for him.
It's just one of those things where if you put the pictures side by side, it should be very obvious for most people.
It's very obvious they are the same, like, they are father and son. Like, Whitebeard would have 100% known that.
Yeah, it's like one of those things, like, how could you tell? And it's like, well, I mean, don't you have eyes?
We don't have to do a Mori DNA test on this. Well, you are not the father. Like,
yeah. Which is funny, we talked about fathers a while back. Wang Zhi being the father of Moria or Kiribu Korbu. I just thought about this, but given how old Wong looks in this chapter, you age them up like 30 years plus, or I guess 40 years plus. Man, like, were they still in their prime?
So that's the crazy thing, because we know that he was ousted by Blackbeard and Kobe and Law at Rocky Port. That was only a year ago. Wang would have been pushing like 80, maybe 90 years old, because he doesn't look like a young guy in the backstory. We see him 48 years ago. He doesn't. He looks like in his 30s, maybe 40s or 50s back then. That was 47. He might be over 100 years old. And apparently Blackbeard needed help in order to take care of him. So he was really powerful, apparently, or he had a lot of followers or a crazy devil fruit or something.
Yeah, he kind of looks like a vampire, and I do wonder.
Yeah, that's where I got the Moria idea, too.
Yeah, it's like, if he does have like some vampiric ass powers, or maybe like the powers of devotion are like his vampiric powers, maybe like when he was fighting Blackbeard in the gang, he was in his prime technically. Like what if we go back and like he looks like this skinny, slim fit version, like almost unrecognizable, like Gojo out of JJK. It's like, whoa, who is this guy? It's Wong.
Yeah. That was that guy. He looked different 44 years ago, 48 years ago than now. Like, different appearance.
Yeah. So, like I said, now that we have the Roxy Zebek reveal, we're eventually going to start getting all these other major players revealed and showcased. Who are you personally looking forward to? Like, your dream pick. Who would you want to get some focus in the story? Doesn't even have to make sense. You could even say Enel.
Yeah, well, I would love to say Eneru again, definitely. But now that Wang is revealed, so I got to pick somebody else. I don't know. I think it might be time for Dragon to finally do stuff. Dragon, you need to pick up the ball and do some things, because you are going to be left in the dust if you don't start doing some stuff like right now.
Yeah. So, do you think he's the one attacking the Holy Land current day?
It's either him or Blackbeard. It's one of the two.
Yeah. I heard a really fun idea that maybe we leave the flashback and Blackbeard, just like Rox, is sitting in the flower room.
Yeah.
That would be sick.
The aura on that panel was absurd. Like, of him just sitting there in the flower room, just staring down Emu.
It's kind of stupid. It's like, how did he get here? And also, how does he even know that this room exists?
Yeah, he might have learned about it from somewhere else. I don't know. But he found out. He found out.
Maybe it was like in Davy Jones's logbook. Like, hey, there's this
Davy
weird
Jones's
flower room.
logbook. Inside of Davy Jones' locker. Yeah, we got to find about Davy Jones, too, who was, like, the original, progenitor of... We know Joy Boy was the first pirate, but, like, Davy Jones probably knew Joy Boy back in the day.
Yeah. Davy Jones could have been the Blackbeard or Roxy Zebek of the Void Century.
Of that era, yeah, I could see that for sure.
Yeah, and Emu probably fought Davy Jones back in the past. That's kind of headcanon, but, I think that'd be kind of fun. And I could imagine Emu would not like Davy Jones just because of the nature of their games. Like, we have this sophisticated character like Emu over here playing board games, Othello, and then you have Davy Jones saying, hey, let's play Groggy Ring, let's dunk some balls.
Let's do chess boxing. It's like boxing with chess. Yeah. Which is crazy the Davy back came back in that way. I did a video about this years ago where I talked about the origin of the Davy back, and I mentioned Rox, and I was like, yeah, that turned out to be true, so that was really fun. But yeah, Foxy was more relevant to the story than we would have expected.
Yeah, I hope we get Foxy too. I
don't, but like,
wait, why do you hate Foxy?
He's annoying. It's just like, but the Long Ring Longland arc is fine, and the Davy back concept is great, but Foxy's always been just like, I think it's because like he's in that one arc, but then they extend that arc in the anime so that way there's even more Foxy, and like there's so many filler episodes where Foxy just shows up. He's like Team Rocket. They just keep showing up again and annoy the crap out of the Straw Hats, and it's like, okay, we don't need them as much. We're all right. I
think he was great in his arc of Long Ring Longland. Not the anime. I mean, the anime, like you said,
if he was isolated to just the manga, then he's fine. It's whatever. Yeah.
But I think Nebuland is what really pushes it over the edge, where we have like this weird hot spring resort, and Foxy's the villain. But like you said, he's Team Rocket, where he's the villain, but he's kind of not because he's so lame.
So yeah, there's the hot spring, there's Spa Island, and then there's also the OVA Nebulandia, which is also like they just keep using Foxy so much, and I'm like, I get it. He's probably the only canon villain that you could reuse that many times because you can't just bring back Eneru. But like, I get it, but it's too much. It's too much Foxy.
Yeah, like maybe we'll get like one scene of him later where Luffy is I can already see this. It's all clear as day, but Luffy's fighting Emu, And then here comes Foxy saying, "I've come for you, Straw Hat. I've come to your assistance."
He uses the slow fruit, and it somehow helps Luffy beat Emu. That would be great.
Yeah, or maybe like Luffy's, doing the drums of liberation, and then Luffy's like, "Man, I need to like change the tempo somehow," and Foxy slows it down. Like it's like a slow jam.
Boom. Yeah.
No, that's crazy. I don't know if I'd want Foxy back either like that. So when it comes to Davy Back fights, do you think we'll see one current day though? Because Rox loves Davy Back fights, but Blackbeard hasn't really shown that same interest or love in Davy Back fights. He hasn't really done one to our knowledge. So do you think
what I mean?
he'll
Like,
do one?
He is not interested maybe in gathering the crew the same way Xebec did. It's more for Blackbeard, like, I'm going to gather the devil fruits rather than the person. Maybe that's where, Rock's messed up because he got all these people on his crew that weren't loyal to him, that weren't working well together. I'm just going to cut out the middleman, and I'm just going to steal all the devil fruit powers and then give them to my men who are all loyal.
Yeah, that could be it.
Work better. Yeah. And also there's the theory that the Davy Back will be held by like Shanks and the Red Hair crew plus Luffy Straw Hats. Like that'll be the combat for them. That'd be interesting.
Yeah, and I feel like, when you think about Shanks, it's like, okay, if we don't do that, how are we going to, quote, surpass Shanks? Are we just going to beat somebody that Shanks couldn't beat? Or is it going to be like a thing where, we simply look at each other and we're like, hey, you're a great pirate. See you later, Luffy.
Bye.
Bye. And yeah, actually, here's a good one, but do you think Shanks will survive through the series? Or do you think he'll meet his end somewhere?
Oh, man. Yeah, that's a tough one. One of those brothers is going to die. It's either Shamrock or Shanks. Someone's going to die there. Or we could have a thing where they just both die together. Like they fight and they both get stabbed at the same time and they both die or something.
Yeah, the end of the Garland family.
Shanks really is like, he gives off the vibes of he was the protagonist in his own like young adult novel at some point. Like he was raised by the Pirate King and then learned that he was actually nobility and he went back home to nobility and then he started his own pirate crew. Like he is the protagonist of another story. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, they literally call him like the child of destiny. Like, my God.
Yeah, he's the child of he's the prophecy child. Yeah.
Yeah. What Oda said that he based Shanks off of himself, or he said he'd be the most like Shanks. Like, okay, the glazing Shanks is getting as crazy.
Yeah.
I don't hate it. I love it, if anything, but it's also like, man, like because we have a character like Shanks, like how do we get rid of him? Because the whole thing with Luffy returning the Straw Hat, I don't think that's something that can exactly happen. Because if Luffy gives back the Straw Hat, like, what? Is Shanks going to give it right back to him? Saying, oh, you earned it, Luffy.
Yeah, like, it's going to be,
I don't know.
like, let's do a Davy Back, and we'll see what happens after that, with the hat, or who the hat ends up with at the end of the story.
Yeah, because if Luffy loses the hat, like, is he even the Straw Hat pirate anymore?
What if the hat is, like, a symbol of the promise of Joy Boy in this whole war, and if Luffy prevents it, what if the hat gets destroyed? And it's like, well, we don't need that symbol anymore because it's like a 3,000-year-long promise that's finally been achieved and the world is finally where it needs to be. So we don't need things like that anymore.
Yeah.
That would be sad, though. Yeah.
That'd be sad. It's an icon just being destroyed, essentially.
Yeah, it would be I'm picturing the full-page spread now of the hat just burning apart. Like, that would be so sad.
Yeah, if the hat goes, we need something to replace it. But I don't know how you replace a Straw Hat. Like, after, 28 years, like, I feel like it's just too iconic. But on to the last question I have for you now. But Will of D.
Yeah.
What do you think the Will of D stands for? Do you think it even stands for anything? Or do you think it's just simply a symbol?
So, like, it's the easiest. Like, if it was a single word, like dawn or devil or something like that, like, it's already been guessed a million times. So if it's revealed that it's devil, then it's like, oh, okay, like, a lot of people predicted that already. It might be a word that Oda like invented for the sake of this, or it could be a phrase. It could be something like, all right, how to put this? When we finally get to see what the One Piece is, if it's an object, simply knowing what the object is different from like the setup of what it is. You know what I mean? Like you could just tell somebody what the One Piece is, but they don't understand the full context because they haven't read the whole story. It's going to be something like that with the Will of D, where it's like a word, but if I just tell you what the word is, it doesn't mean anything unless you've actually read all of One Piece and you understand what it is. It's the best way. I know it's hard to understand, but it's like that's basically the way I'm viewing it.
Just something very unique to One Piece is pretty much what you're saying.
Yes. Exactly, yeah. It's like, I made a video about this years ago, which was really funny. Let's say after One Piece ends and we know what the One Piece is, we know the treasure is, we all basically become like Rayleigh. And so let's say there's a person that's just watching One Piece for the first time and is like, what is it? What's the One Piece? Like, you could just Google it or look on YouTube. It'd be like, take your time with it because me telling you is not the same as just you finding out on your own for that journey. Yeah.
Yeah. Which it does make you wonder, like, man, Roger's decision of not doing
Yeah.
anything. Like, is it really because they were too soon, or, is it because Roger's just dying? Like, a little bit of all the above?
It's something even similar to Rox, where Rox got there and he had to admit that, like, okay, I've gotten to the Room of Flowers. I can't kill Emu. I can't take their power. I can't do anything right now. I have to leave and rethink this, but I will be back someday.
Yeah, I can't believe Emu let that threat slide. Like, I get it, right? Emu's just so high up there. It's like, okay, why would you stomp out an ant? But still, like, man, that's a threat.
It's the question of Emu didn't kill Rox. Emu can fight. We've seen Emu, like, Devil Fruit of Powers and stuff. Why didn't Emu was so chill over Rox, was very nervous when Joy Boy's hockey nuke went off, when Emmett exploded. He was like, Emu was, like, about to pass out from Joy Boy. So it's like, okay, there's things that Emu fears, but doesn't seem to be Rox, doesn't seem to be Roger.
Yeah, and they just kind of let him, discover the truth of the world, too, which is kind of crazy.
I feel like Rox tell anybody about that?
I don't know. Like, would you even believe Rox? Like, let's say Rox sat down with Shiki the Golden Lion and said, "Hey, Shiki, there's a guy up there, in the flower room. I can't beat them." Would Shiki just laugh and say, "You're an idiot"?
You're just telling me a bunch of bullshit. That's not.
Yeah, I don't respect you, Rox. Not you and your campfire stories.
Yeah, and also they wouldn't have the method like Vegapunk did to spread a message to the entire world. So like Rox probably kept it to himself, and like probably the less people that knew about that, the better.
Yeah. Have you seen speaking of Emu, have you seen the pictures that Oda's been taking of Emu in his office?
Yeah, in his
room?
office, and it's like off to the side we see a sketch art of what Emu might look like.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like,
that's so wild. Yeah,
people cleaned up the image, and it's like a woman holding up a sword with the three-pointed crown. It's like, wait a minute, is that Emu, or is that supposed to be like Emu? Lily? I don't know.
Yeah, it's the idea that maybe Lily's body is, because we now know that Emu straight up can possess people. We know that.
Yeah.
And has at least possessed Gunko, so maybe possessing Lily as the main body. That would probably be the one, that people are jumping on.
Yeah, I think that theory just got like a plus 10 points.
A lot of people want Emu to be like a goth baddie. Like, really bad.
Please. Yeah. Imagine they take off the silhouette, it's just Shadowheart. It's like, oh my god.
Yeah, Shadowheart from Baldur's Gate 3. I'm like, okay, that works.
Woo!
Thank you, Oda.
Yeah, thank you, Oda. You did it. He cooked again.
Yeah, there it is.
Oh, that could be it. That could be it.
But dude, it's been a while. That's only been like Elbaph's not even that long. It started at 11:26 and we're at 11:55, so we're like barely 30 chapters into it, and we've already gotten all of that information so far.
Yeah, so much has happened, and like I'm gonna admit, as much as I love this flashback, I wish we kind of interwoven like some of current day events. Like, I want to see like Zoro and Sanji go up to the Heaven Realm, and I really want to see, as a fan of like Sanji and Zoro, I do think Sanji as a wing of the Pirate King. I wonder if he has Conqueror's Haki, like that conversation with Gabon.
The conversation with Scopper's kind of like cut off, where there's a scene where he is saying something and Loki and Hiruden are like shouting so he doesn't hear it, but like or we don't hear it as the viewers, but Sanji heard it. It makes perfect sense. I mean, Rayleigh, Scopper, and Roger all had Conquerors, so Zoro, Luffy, and Sanji getting it makes perfect sense as well.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Sanji had like a stipulation to it, like maybe he can only activate it when his Jerma mode is on, or maybe that's
like
it.
That, yeah.
Yeah.
Also, how the fuck did Zoro not realize that he had Conquerors for like the longest time? Luffy's like, "Oh, come on, it was oozing off of you," and Zoro's like, "Huh?"
Yeah, especially when Kaido's like, another Conqueror.
You have it. He tells him.
Yeah, that's something we don't really question. It's the heat of battle. I like to imagine like the adrenaline, the dopamine, like everything's running through Zoro's brain. The last thing he cares about is Kaido. And I also love just thinking about like how windy it is up there. Imagine it's so windy, Zoro couldn't hear Kaido when he said it. Like Kaido's saying something.
You have Conqueror's Haki. It's like, okay. What?
Yeah, like it feels
I'm just going to attack.
Huh?
I didn't hear what you just said, but I'm going to attack you anyway now.
Yeah, it feels right. I'm just going to do this.
You ever been in a conversation with somebody and there's a lot of noise and they're saying stuff and all you could do is just like, yeah, oh yeah, man, I'll tell you what, yeah.
Oh,
you just kind of have to bullshit your way through it.
Yeah, like you space out for a second, you're like, yeah, 100%.
Yep.
Definitely.
Yep.
I lied. Last one now, but Hiruden. Are you expecting him to get a glow up in this arc?
Yeah, he is. Hiruden is going to eventually be Odin. Like, he's going to be the king of Elbaph. He's going to lose an eye at some point. He's going to be, because Ida said in the last chapter, or one of the last chapters, like, oh, my son Hiruden's going to live to be the oldest giant ever. Now, she said that maybe just because that's her son. She wants her son to, like, live and prosper and stuff. But I think that was a tell to be like, no, Hiruden's going to be like 700 years old telling the story of, like, you know, Luffy and everybody to all of the giants and people on Elbaph, and he's going to be the wise king. This is Odin the younger years that we're seeing right now with Hiruden, basically.
Okay. No, I completely agree. I feel like the way Elbaph is set up, it's set up for Hiruden to really just shine alongside Loki. Because we have, like, these crazy, like, giant duos, right? Time and time again, we have, like, Jarl, Yorul, Dori, Brogy, Oimo, Kashi. I would be shocked if Hiruden doesn't somehow, I don't know how, somehow gets on the same level as Loki and just does a Hakoku sovereignty with them.
Yeah. I think people are just kind of, because Hiruden seems weaker than Loki, and Loki has all these really cool feats and everything like that. But Hiruden, don't sleep on him. He's powerful too, and we can see a cool attack with him. Like when he used Gungnir against Machvice at Dressrosa, I know that's not the most impressive villain ever, but it was a really cool attack.
Yeah, you know, if he used that on Doflamingo, you know, would Doflamingo be here today? I don't know.
I mean, you got to look at the idea that Machvice has a power that made him like. I just did a video on it not long ago, and I measured it out. It's like 2 million or 2 billion pounds or some ridiculous weight that he was, and Hiruden was able to punch him into the stratosphere. So, like, that's okay. That is a feat. That is pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's very impressive. I mean, and then we saw like we don't get it often, but like, you know, the whole thing where like all of Hiruden's bones just break.
Yeah,
he
they're
does
like
it.
shattering his
through.
teeth are breaking out of his skull. That was brutal.
It was a good fight. I mean, I do look back at that fight fondly. I just think, like you said, it's because it was Machvice he was fighting.
No, nobody cares about Machvice.
Nobody cares. What's funny, too, is I think Oda went back and he gave these guys, like, bounties as well.
Yeah, he does that with a few of them in, like, the Vivra cards and stuff. So, like, Oven and Daifuku got bounties of, like, 300 million. Machvice...
Dude, Machvice has 11 million.
Oh, God, yeah. Well, they were originally villains in the north, and then if they would have become, like, because Doflamingo was a warlord, so his bounty would have frozen, their bounties would have froze as well. Yeah.
What an unfortunate bounty to freeze that. 11 million? Dude,
11
Buggy the
million.
Clown was bigger than that.
Dude, you want to know the weirdest bounty in One Piece? Type in Bobbin.
Isn't Bobbin from, like, 200 million?
No, read Bobbins. It's the weirdest one. It's 105,500,000. It's 105.5. It's so strange. Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, how do they calculate that? Like, they looked at
I don't
Bobbins
know.
and like, yep, this guy's it.
They're puns. Like, Shanks's bounty is, like, literally, it's 4,048,900,000.
Yeah.
Shiyanku. So they, like, the guy in the Marines is like, let's give him that bounty because it's Shiyanku, Shanks in the bounty name. Big Mom's has 8 because that's like haha for Big Mom, like mama.
Yeah,
so,
and they do the same thing for Crocodile with 1.96 is like Kraku. So it's like, they love their wordplay, which
They love their wordplay. There's a guy in the Marines that's having a lot of fun coming up with these bounty numbers.
I like to imagine, like, you know, they're lucky nobody's cashing it in, because then they'd eventually be like, hey, what's with this high bounty? It's like, oh, it was funny.
I was at a ice cream stand a few weeks ago, and me and my friend were in line waiting for it, and it's like we're reading the prices, and they were the weirdest things. It was like a banana split, $4.01. Like, why?
Round up or down,
like,
man.
You really
Come on.
need that extra penny? Like, what? Why are you doing that? It was the weirdest numbers for these ice creams.
Yeah, I just pay $4.50 at that point, man. Come on, just bring it up.
You're like, do you really need the penny? Like, seriously, I have $4 right here.
Yeah, you know, speaking of the play with bounties, do you think Mr. One has a bounty of just straight up 1 billion?
1.
Oh
like,
my
that would
God.
be great. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be so cursed. But hey, thank you, Tekking, for being here. Thank you for spending your time here on the channel.
Thank you for having me on again, Sai. It's always a pleasure, man.
No, man, of course, dude. I feel like it's a tradition to get you on once every 30 chapters. That'll be a thing.
We'll touch base again. Maybe by the end of Elbaph, maybe we'll be somewhere else in 30 chapters. I don't know.
Yeah, it feels like we're at the halfway point of Elbaph, so, you know, we'll reconvene at the finale.
Yeah, that does line up about right. How long was Egghead? Egghead was it's crazy because Egghead arc was like longer than Skypiea. Skypiea was like the longest arc for the longest time in One Piece. Egghead was 68 chapters. So we're like 30 right now in Elbaph. So we're like about half.
Yeah, about halfway. Yeah. That makes sense. But hey, you guys, you know where to find Tekking. If you don't, somehow he'll be linked down below. So, click him there.
Thank you.
You will be able to find him in all of his channels. And again, Tekking, thank you for your time, brother. And we will catch you guys later.
Later, everybody.
Peace out, y'all.